Canadians working for Canadians. By Firestone, a new generation of tires from a world of experience. And by K-Tel International Limited.
Today, the 1981 Hall of Fame game from Hamilton. An old East-West rivalry is renewed, live on CBC television. Hi, everyone. A chilly September afternoon in southern Ontario, but spirits are high in Hamilton. Our opening highlight portrayed much of the Tigercats' success so far in '81. A quick start left the Tigercats' Eastern Conference rivals well behind, and that's where they remain today. It's a much different story for Winnipeg. As you can see, the Bombers are in a scramble for the playoffs in the West. And while Calgary's loss last night helped the Bomber cause, Winnipeg remains 2 points away from the final playoff spot. To make matters worse, injuries have complicated the Bombers' situation. Running back William Miller and all-star defensive tackle John Helton will both miss this game, and the necessary adjustments will make it difficult for Ray Yock to keep pace with a Western playoff run. While the Tigercats have had to adjust because of injuries to running back Mark Bragagnolo and guard Alan Moffat, their problems today are far less severe. Injuries are just part of the heartache involved in coaching in Canadian football, and this gentleman knows that better than most. Leo Cahill, former head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. With Leo at the helm, the Argos didn't always win, but they always played entertaining CFL football. And this season, Leo will bring his colorful style to the broadcast booth for CBC television. Coach, you're on.
Well, John, if I knew I looked that crazy on the sidelines, I'd ask for my waivers from the Argonauts a lot sooner. But all kidding aside, it's not very funny coming into Hamilton to play football. You better fasten your chin straps because they believe that a good defense is getting to the ball carrier in the least amount of time in a bad frame of mind. Winnipeg's in a must-win situation today. They've got some injuries, so they're in trouble. But there's a couple dominant factors out there this afternoon. Hamilton's defense against Winnipeg's offense. Now, if Hamilton plays the style defense that they're capable of playing, they'll win. Otherwise, if they give Dieter Brock the opportunity to get on that scoreboard, he can score 100, and Hamilton will be playing catch-up football. There's a couple dominant individuals out there also. Dieter Brock, the Winnipeg quarterback, is a smart quarterback. He's got a quick release. He looks for his receivers very well. His receivers are disciplined, and Hamilton can come with a little bit more of a careless rush because of this. On the other side of the ball, though, Tommy Clemens is what I call the extra dimension quarterback. He'll throw the ball to the best receiver. If that doesn't work, hand off to the best back, and if that doesn't work, keep it himself. He'll run to avoid getting hurt, and he can do it very well. I'll tell you one thing, I'm getting excited, John. The tape's on and the band's playing. Let's go.
Leo, save some of the lines for the telecast. We're live at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, and we'll be right back.
There are a lot of aircraft on exciting missions in the Canadian Armed Forces and challenging jobs for good people with the regular forces or the reserves, pilots and navigators and others. If you've got what it takes, we've got a great life for you.
There's no life like it. There's no life like it.
We're the Canadian Armed Forces. Look for us in the yellow pages under Recruiting.
Crazy glue for wood and leather will bond these two pieces of wood and form a trapeze bar. He applies the glue, presses the parts together, and the bond held. Crazy glue for wood and leather makes fast, long-lasting bonds on wooden chairs, wooden boats, leather bags, and leather coats. Most anything made of wood and leather, this Crazy glue can hold together. Get Crazy glue for wood and leather, the repair kit that comes in a tube.
Crazy glue for wood and leather, available everywhere you buy your regular instant Crazy glue.
The head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers looking desperately for a victory this afternoon over the Hamilton Tigercats. Bombers with a 5-4 record on the season. The Tigercats at 7 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. And Ray Yock would dearly love to get back into the Western Conference playoff race by getting by the Hamilton Tigercats in a crucial encounter, in particular for the Blue Bombers this afternoon. Frank Cush has had an outstanding debut in Canadian football, winning 7 games in the early going and playing extremely well from the very outset of this season. The string included a victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 33-23, in the opening game of this CFL season. That is the matchup we have here this afternoon at Iverwin Stadium, the Tigercats and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Leo, how are you set to go?
John, I'm excited, like I said before. I think this is going to be a good football game. As you said, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are in a situation where they've got to win this afternoon. The Hamilton Tigercats, on the other hand, are pretty well established in first place. But Frank Cush knows that losing brings about an area of discontent, and he doesn't want any discontent getting ready for these playoffs. So Hamilton's going to go out there and take no prisoners. You can bet on that.
How difficult, quickly, Leo, is it to win in this football park?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When you come over here, as I said before, you got to get ready to play not only the people on the field, but the officials, the people in the stands, and the people in the steel mills. So it's very tough to win over here.
Well, we're awaiting the opening kickoff here at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton. The national anthem this afternoon will be sung by the Bach Elgar Choir. Tigercats and the Bombers are all set, and so is our CBC sports crew from Hamilton. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment.
You gotta keep on changing, gotta move with the times. That's what it takes to be the best.
A 5-seater Pontiac mileage maker with a pull of front-wheel drive, that's gotta be Phoenix. Hardly a road too steep, a curve too tough. For front-wheel drive, Phoenix. Pontiac's X-Car. 4-cylinder or optional V6. Nobody's got it like Phoenix.
Nobody's got it like Pontiac.
You know who's got it, don't you?
Pontiac.
How can something so small sound so big? The Sony Walkman. Take one for a test walk. It's the only way you'll ever know.
In the Blue Bomber end zone to receive number 27 at the top of your screen, Paul Bennett, number 9, Vince Faison. And the prevailing wind from the west will favor Bernie Ruoff as he kicks off for the Hamilton Tigercats. Paul Bennett a couple of yards deep. Recovered by Winnipeg. Bennett fumbled the ball. Shancone recovering the football for the Bombers, so they'll have a first down from their 27-yard line. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you, John, Paul Bennett is a kid that came to me from Wilfrid Laurier, and he's got a great ability to return those kicks. He's a guy that'll get it turned upfield, and he runs to daylight very good, but that was unfortunate he fumbled that ball, and just very lucky for Winnipeg that they didn't turn it over this early in the ball game.
Dieter Brock will direct the Winnipeg offense. First down. Obi Graves, 34. Jim Mueller, 69, in to make the tackle on Graves, the former Hamilton Tigercats. Graves has been activated for this ball game.
And Mueller is one of those two kids from down there at Queens that's doing such a good job there. I was talking to his coach the other night, Frank Tyndall, the coach that had been down at Queens, and they're very proud of these two kids. The other one's Francis, is playing offensive guard.
A long list of Queens graduates includes Jimmy Young, former BC Lion, Bob House of the Edmonton Eskimos. Brock for Rick House, and House is met squarely, got away from the tackle by Fields, and House is still going to the 40-yard line. He'll go all the way and score. Rick House, Blue Bombers, big play. He was caught dead to rights by Howard Fields. A 76-yard touchdown run by Rick House. Great competitor, but not all that speedy, Leo Cahill.
Oh, he didn't look that fast at all, John, but he made the break just in time. And as you say, Fields blew the tackle. And this early in the game, boy, it's very difficult. Here we come on a replay. It's just a simple bend-out pattern with the two wide receivers going deep, and he slid into the inside and just beat the tackle, overpowered the guy. There's a block that was made right there that was a good block, and then he just ran and got into the open field and out-hooked him. And as you say, he ran like he's got those 13-inch cleats, but he got the job done.
Trevor Kennard makes it 7-0 for the Blue Bombers. An amazing turn of events at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. Second offensive play for the Blue Bombers goes for a major score. You look at the replay again, Leo, number 27, Leroy Paul, rather, also has a pretty good shot to get to House. He has him in his sights.
I think no one has mentioned this, John, but Dieter Brock had an awful lot of pressure on him in there from the defensive line, but he just waited until the last moment and threw that ball. And then here he gets the ball and comes down. There's one block thrown in there that was an excellent block, and this wasn't a great block, but it just detracted number 74 long enough that he didn't get in there and make that play. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a drastic change from what I thought it was going to be early in this ball game. Winnipeg wants this and wants it badly.
Lots of excitement early at the Hall of Fame game, Ivor Wynne Stadium, 7-0 Blue Bombers. We've got 13 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the opening quarter, and we've already seen a touchdown. Trevor Kennard lines it up on his 45-yard line for the Blue Bombers. And the deep backs, Howard Fields, number 16, and at the top of your screen, Steve Stapler, number 3.
John, I'm continually amazed at this Kennard kid. You know, he's got to stand on two bricks to kick a duck in the hind parts, but he gets the ball for a sidewinder way up in the air. And this is a big advantage because a lot of those sidewinders, you know, get field goals blocked.
Into the wind, this is Steve Stapler. Across the 30 to the 32-yard line. He's pinned there by Norman, number 55. And the Tigercats offensively will have their first try of the afternoon. Very potent offense led by quarterback Tom Clements with Ruford Crawford as the number 1 running back. The substitution there is Dave Graffey, who's in for his first game of the season in a starting role.
Talking to Bragignola yesterday, he's got out of this ball game with some busted ribs, and he didn't really recognize that he had sore ribs until he turned over in bed one night and found out that he really had them.
I thought you weren't going to tell that story, Lee. Rufus Crawford across the 35 to about the 37-yard line.
Reed made the tackle.
James Reed, 57 for the Blue Bombers, led the tacklers. Vernon Paul, 54, also in on the play.
Crawford is, to my way of thinking, one of the most, I think, not looked at and not heralded athletes in the Eastern Conference this year. He can do a lot of things. He catches the ball very well, and if you watch him running, John, he's always turned upfield and he's always making that extra yardage.
This is 2nd and 4. Dave Graffey, 32, across the 45, has plenty for the first down. Ron Churka's pulled him down, number 60 for the Blue Bombers.
As you'll see, Clements goes right back here, and it looks like he's going to throw the ball deep, and just at the last moment just passes it off there. It looks like a little bit of a screen out there to Graffey, and Graffey takes the ball and gets that first down yardage, does a good job, and Clements will nickel and dime you to death on those first downs.
From the 40, first down, Hamilton. Gord Patterson into Blue Bomber territory at the 49. A 16-yard pickup. Vince Faison and Jim Reed supplying the tackle for Winnipeg.
As you'll notice here, both backs just checked to see if the outside linebackers were coming before they went into the pattern, and when both backs swing out when the linebackers don't come on that defense, it puts in a position on the linebackers and allows those outside men to curl to the inside and get open behind the middle linebacker, and that's what happened.
Another first down, Tigercats. This time Rufus Crawford. James Reed, 57, made the initial contact. Stopped well short of a first down. Again, maybe 2 yards if they are gracious this afternoon. Leo, one of the major improvements on this Hamilton Tigercat football team in 1981, the outside speed of number 3 Stapler and number 1 Keith Baker. Inside, 2 other experienced receivers, DiPietro and Patterson.
Plus the fact that they got a fellow by the name of Lee Pedersen that's playing in there behind them, and he can do the job and play regular for anybody else.
Time for Clements, going long. Almost. Keith Baker had his fingertips on that one. We'll be back with a Hamilton second down right after this.
If you think all radial tires are the same, think again. This is the Firestone 721 Fuel Fighter Radial, a superb combination of traction and smooth, dependable performance. And inside, the backbone of 721 technology. 7 steel filaments wrapped around 2, then bound together by 1 more. The 721 Fuel Fighter is the safest, most advanced original equipment tire in our history. Since 721 quality is a choice of major new car manufacturers, make it your choice. Only Firestone has it.
The cars they said North America would never build are at your Pontiac dealers today.
Pontiac J.
The spectacular 1982 J2000 station wagon, part of a new series of front-wheel drive Pontiacs. Quality that we feel stacks up against any competitive small car anywhere in the world.
Pontiac J2000. Nobody's got it like
You got it, Pontiac.
Well, you see right here, at the last moment there, just a little bit of a deflection, or Baker would have had that ball. You know, I said that Clements will nickel and dime you to death, but every once in a while he goes to the fences, and he can go to that Stapler or Baker, and they're both good deep receivers. Number 20, Charlie Williams, just got enough of that ball that time, or got enough in the front of that ball that time to divert it.
Unfortunately, it goes for naught for the Tigercats, and Ruoff forced to punt. It's out of bounds. No, it's not. Paul Bennett, 27, has it. A flag comes down on the play. I thought the ball was going to kick to the far side of the field. A 41-yard punt that time by Bernie Ruoff. And Paul Bennett watched that one closely.
No yards, number 52, Hamilton.
No yards to call against Hamilton.
Well, the Tigercats within the area. So the Bombers will start out from their 20-yard line.
John Blake got a little bit too close that time down there on his coverage. It's a break for Winnipeg to get out of that hole down there.
Dieter Brock, the outstanding quarterback in Canadian football in 1980. The season equally impressive this year. Obie Graves couldn't find the hole, but scrambled and found another one.
Just a simple draw play in there. You know, everybody when they're playing Winnipeg is looking for Brock to throw the ball on any given down, and he will throw the ball. And when he does come with the draw, it's been very effective. He'll also screen you, and those are the 2 counters to that throwing game that he does so well.
For Graves, a 6-yard pickup. For the Bombers, 2nd down and 4 to go. Tipped at the line of scrimmage, flags go down, and it's picked up by Graves for the Bombers. There was a flag on the play. I didn't see who tipped the ball, Leo. Graves was saying to the referee, Phil Dell, that he was just trying to get around. He didn't do anything illegal. The interference call looks like it's against the Blue Bombers, offensive pass interference.
Well, that's a simple pattern that they're throwing, but it's very effective, John. They're clearing the 2 inside men.
Offensive pass interference, number 74, Winnipeg.
Dick Rigoloff is 74 for the Bombers.
As I was saying, John, that's just a very simple pattern that they're throwing, but they're clearing the 2 outside receivers and just bringing the inside man underneath and just getting it to him out in the flat as the safeties and the corners are dropping back, and they're beating the linebacker on the play. Hamilton's going to have to make a little bit of an adjustment on that and get their linebacker involved in that, because if you get the ball to a good speedy back in an open field situation, you're in a world of trouble.
Peter Brock faces a 2nd and 15 situation. Joe Poplawski. There's a flag down in the Bomber backfield. Poplawski almost to the 30, but still short of a first down.
Looks like it could be an offsides Hamilton that time. A preliminary call.
Possible movement on the left side of the line that time, Leo. Breezy afternoon here in Hamilton.
I'm having a little trouble with my depth charts here. I want to blow them out.
Offside number 68, Hamilton.
James Ramey.
74, James Ramey jumping off sides. Actually, it's Ecomet Burley. Ecomet Burley, you know, is a guy that's got a lot of aggressiveness, and he usually watches the ball pretty well, but he was over anxious that time and jumped off sides. So it's 2nd down.
9 yards to go, Winnipeg. Brock over the middle for House. He had it momentarily, dropped it, ruled no catch. Zambiazzi knocked it away from Rick House. Almost made another big catch for the Bombers.
Well, there's Brock going back, and it's just a simple post pattern going right there to the inside, and it was a great job by Zambiazzi. He pulled the arm away from the receiver, Poplawski, and got the ball loose, and it could have been very dangerous had they called that completed. But Winnipeg fortunately recovered the ball anyhow.
A punting situation for the Bombers. Bob Cameron, number 6, will punt to Stapler or Howard Field. Howard Fields at the 55, outside and out of touch. Strong wind facing the Blue Bombers in the opening quarter. A 13-yard return for Fields. And Winnipeg leading this football game 7-0. We have 7:55 to play in the first quarter from Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton.
First down to Hamilton. The ball is on the Winnipeg 43-yard line.
Offensively, the Tigercats start from the Bomber 42.
All right, this is where this field position is going to tell because of this wind factor. This is great field position for Hamilton. They're in position right now to get some points.
Not quite. Dave Graffey was the intended receiver.
Clements' pass goes
That was a play-action pass, just a simple fake-off tackle pass, and Clements taking the ball and stepping back, and Graffey was wide open in the outside, but I think the wind caught the ball just at the last minute and took it out of his grasp.
Tom Clements on the afternoon. 2 completions in 4 attempts. He faces 2nd down and 10 from the Bomber 42. Tom Clements. Ken Ciancone over to make the tackle for the Blue Bombers. Substantial loss. 13-yard loss.
Ciancone started off the line of scrimmage, but when he saw Tom Clements coming, he took a good pursuit pattern and flattened out to the outside and just made a sensational play there. It's not very often that you're going to get that linebacker catching Clements when he gets to the outside. But he did an excellent job on that. Hamilton's kicking. Again, field position is going to mean an awful lot, even with Winnipeg right now in a position to take the football.
Bernie Ruoff steps across his 45-yard line, kicking with the wind. Gary Rozalowicz at the 10. A 47-yard punt with the wind. And we'll be back with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers first down. They lead it 7-0.
Most of us read every day. But if you have difficulty reading print, see your eye doctor. The C&IB Library may be able to help you. Textbooks, job support material, bestsellers, and magazines in Braille or talking book form are available to blind and visually impaired persons. Handicapped individuals or persons with partial vision can often borrow large print and talking books from their public library. For further information, contact your local C&IB.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers from their 21-yard line, they've started 3 drives from deep in their own zone this afternoon. One went for a major score. Dieter Brock to Rick House on the opening sequence. And that's where it stands right now, 7-0. Blue Bombers leading the Tigercats. Up Gaddis, number 26, flanks to the near side along with Joe Poplawski. There's Dieter Brock. Obi Graves, tough running inside. Almost to the 29. Grover Covington, 66. The Tigercats made the initial stop.
Made a good recovery on that, too, John, because Graves done it to the outside, and there was a little bit of running room right there, and he got through there. It could have been a long gainer.
Well, the head coaches ever smile on the sidelines, Leo? Ever?
Well, Yawk is a very intense guy, boy. He likes to win.
He's had his share of victories in Canadian football. Brock on 2nd and 5 for Rick House. Has the first down across the 31-yard line, maybe to the 32. David Shaw, 37 for the Tigercats, forced him out of bounds.
On that play, John, Brock started to his right and got that defense bending over there in their zone coverage over there, and all they had left over on this side was a linebacker. He just got the ball out here, and that's kind of a misdirection pass, but a lot of times you'll catch that zone in a rotation and get a one-on-one back on the backside, and that's what he got.
On first down, Brock has time. Obi Graves, a swing pass. He has 6 yards.
Brock's pass completed.
Shaw, 37. And Cam Carteri. Grover Covington, all met him. Make it a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6 Winnipeg.
Need a 4 on the play, 2nd down and 6.
Well, the advantage definitely to the Blue Bombers in those early statistics. 86 yards passing, only 9 along the ground, but in total Winnipeg out in front and on the scoreboard as well. The draw to Obi Graves doesn't go anywhere. John Priestner, 36, the middle linebacker for the Tigercats. Step Graves.
And that's Priestner's play. He's the middle linebacker, and he's checking that running back coming through there. And he saw as the quarterback went back to pass, he saw him stuff that ball in there and, to Graves, and he just stepped right up in and made the tackle, and it was a good play by Priestner.
That brings Bob Cameron onto the field, number 6 for the Bombers. Deep men for the Tigercats on the 3rd down situation, Steve Stapler, Howard Fields.
John, there's 4:27, 4:24 remaining now in this first quarter. And if Winnipeg can get off, you know, there's a good kick against the wind, but if they can get off without having any more points scored on them by Winnipeg, by Hamilton, they're in great shape.
Stapler to the 30-yard line. That's where the Tigercats will start with a first down. This program is copyrighted and strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited. Well, a chilly morning here, but it's not a bad afternoon, Leo.
John, let me point that out to you one more time. I got a little bit involved there when you got into covering that last situation that you covered, but field position means so much in this ball game, and the wind advantage is definitely with the Tigercats, and yet they're behind on the scoreboard, and Winnipeg is in fine position right now if they can just keep the Tigercats off the board this first quarter.
Clements, wide open, Rocky DiPietro across midfield. Charles Williams, number 20 for the Bombers, makes the tackle, but DiPietro was wide open. A 25-yard pickup.
Clemens goes right straight back, and what happened was that they were in a zone type of coverage, and the linebacker didn't drop deep enough, and he got between the linebacker and the deep backs and just threw it right there in the hole, and it was a fine-looking play.
First down, Hamilton. Clemens to the outside. Not too much room out there. Gordy Patterson, 34 on the reception. Vince Faison, number 9, on the tackle for Winnipeg. It's the knee of Marv Alamang. It's been reactivated by the Blue Bombers for this game. They had a tremendous rush of injuries in their last game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
This is about Alamang's first stop. He was with the Argonauts, then he was with Otto, and I think he was with Hamilton before he went out to Winnipeg.
2nd and 4, almost intercepted. DiPietro was the intended receiver, and Reggie Pearson almost picked it off for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's 7-0 Winnipeg, 2:39 to play in the first quarter. We'll be back.
You say you're not well balanced, jumpy, Overreaching? Out of touch? Well, get a horse, a Black & Decker workhorse, a stable work platform you put together easily with these super strong adjustable brackets. Add a platform, clamp in 2x4 legs, and suddenly you're well balanced. You can concentrate no matter how crazy the job is. Remember, those legs are adjustable. Black & Decker workhorse, a great contribution to do-it-yourself sanity. Michelangelo would have loved it.
Filters and oil, alignment and brakes, shocks, batteries, and tune-ups. At Firestone, when you come in for service, that's exactly what you get. Qualified mechanics and name brand parts. And when we say your car will be ready, it'll be ready and right at Firestone.
Now that's service.
Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, 3rd down. And 4 yards to go. Bernie Ruoff in for the Tigercats to punt. Back across his own 50-yard line. Paul Bennett at the 5. A 42-yard kick that time. Not much running room for Bennett, who went straight ahead. And the Bombers will scrimmage from deep in their own zone once again. Wednesday on CBC television from Olympic Stadium in Montreal, follow the Expos against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ernie Afghani's, Dave Van Horn, Duke Snyder at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Major League Baseball action on CBC. Then next Saturday, the New York Mets in Montreal to play the Expos. That game at 1:30 Eastern Time. Expos continue their stretch drive in the National League Eastern Division, and you can follow them on CBC. Colby Graves. And a great play by Covington. 66 for the Hamilton Tigercats. Ray Yock does not understand what happened there.
You see Butler there now, he's taking on Comet Burley, and that's a real job in itself. But the nice thing about blocking somebody on the one-on-one blocking, and the thing that you got to do is stay with your block like Butler did there and sustain it, and just not allow that guy to get free to make the tackle.
Flags go down as Brock tries to turn a 2nd and 9 situation into something. Poplawski couldn't make the catch. There's holding. At least the initial call from referee Bill Dell. Number 6, Harold Woods knocking the ball down for the Tigercats. This one's a little confusing.
43, decline, 3rd down.
John Bonk is 43 for the Bombers.
And John, I still can't get over how remarkable it is with this wind the way it is and such a factor it is that Hamilton hasn't got on the board with at least a point. Now here we are again with the Winnipeg having to punt against, with Cameron back in the end zone, having to punt against the wind. And Hamilton once again should get some good field position, but they're not taking advantage of that field position. And if they can hold off just a little bit longer, Winnipeg, for example, they'll get the wind and it'll be a remarkable stay.
Howard Fields with 35 for the Tigercats. Willie Thomas, 50 for the Bombers to make the tackle. If the Bombers had managed one more first down with 1:15 remaining in this first quarter, they might well have been punting with the wind, Leo.
That's right. They could have salvaged it. Right now, it's just 54 seconds remaining on the clock. The score is 7-0. Hamilton's going to have to make their best try here to get on that board, because once the wind changes and gets against them, they're going to have a tough time.
This is the 3rd time the Tigercats have started a drive from the inside the Winnipeg zone. Good catch, Stapling. Oh! Don Burrell, 22, brought him down. Stapler up high to drag that one in.
All it was a sprint out to the left here by Clements, and Stapler on the outside just run what we call a curl from the outside in. He got right in that spot between the safety and the cornerback and made a fine catch on the play. The Tigercats are threatening right now, but they're running out of time with the wind.
Clements in trouble. Big pursuit. He got it away. Crawford down to the 10. tackle, number 72, but a big play for the Hamilton Tigercats. Rufus Crawford from Tom Clements.
Eric Clements takes the ball and goes back. He looks to his left and then gets tremendous pressure right there from the other side. He spots Crawford in the open there and gives the ball to Crawford, and Crawford almost has his head taken off and makes a nice catch and brings it down to the 9-yard line.
As you mentioned at the outset, Leo, Clements likes to get outside. He's not afraid to run with the ball and play off that. To the end zone, almost. And the fans reacting to that. Crawford was the intended receiver. First quarter is over. Winnipeg Blue Bombers lead the Hamilton Tigercats 7-0.
In its time, the telegraph was a miracle of communications. And so, at Canadian Pacific, we used it to help run the railway. Then, in 1883, we offered our telegraph service to the public. And ever since, communications has been an important part of our service. In recent years, as CNCP Telecommunications, we've been innovators in this fast-developing industry. Speed, efficiency, and the need for more and varied services has been our constant challenge. Soon, we hope to revolutionize office work with our new Infotex word processing system. It will handle your mail, keep your files, print a report, or connect you instantly across the country or around the world. And what's next for us at Canadian Pacific? Perhaps this. Laser beams and a glass wire. Fiber optics. The new miracle of communications. Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
Football was originally called Whimpets and required heavy padding. But as men became sturdier through physical fitness, the name was changed to Fuss Bucket or Chemin de Fou. Players continue to exercise 3 times a week, developing their hearts and lungs. And with the addition of cheerleaders, the present-day game was born.
Participation says none of this was true, except the part about fitness being good for you.
Looking at the Hamilton Tigercat offensive statistics from the opening quarter to the second quarter. About to begin, the Tigercats from the Winnipeg 9-yard line. It's 2nd and 10. Clements lopped one, almost the end zone. He was screened. The intended receiver screened. Doc Lucky, I should say, screened Rufus Crawford. And that is not legal in this game, Coach.
Well, John, that's just a case of a linebacker getting on a speedy running back coming out of the backfield. He only had one recourse, and that was to face guard. He threw the hands up in front of him, face guarded him, and so they threw the flag down.
Doc Lucky, 62 for the Bombers. That's a no-no. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line. It's a first down automatically, and the Tigercats start with that first down from the Blue Bomber 4. Crawford almost to the goal line. James Reed, 57, made the tackle.
That was a real good stick, too, John, because he just held him long enough for help to come along, or Crawford probably could have pulled out of that tackle and got in the end zone, but they swarmed him after that. That was a good goal line stand. Here's the play coming back right here at Crawford. Now he's got great leg drive. He comes in there and you see the stick come right there. I think Paul Bennett got the first hit. He delayed him just long enough to get the help from the offensive or the defensive line.
And again, that's another Bomber defensive line coming up with another big stop. This time York Henschel, 52. Okay, are you going in the end zone if you're down on the sidelines or what?
Well, I think right now that Frank Cush is probably thinking that, you know, he's got the wind against him and he's down there on the 1-yard line. I would think that maybe he would kick down here, but it doesn't look like he's going to send anybody in from the sideline, so he's going to let him test him.
Tigercats started at the Bomber 52. It's third down, goal to go from the 1. Fake this time to the end zone. And Clements was looking for Lee Pedersen. Instead, he found the back of Vince Faison. So the Tigercats come away empty. But hold on, there's a flag in the end zone.
Pass interference.
Again.
Number 76, Winnipeg.
Ken Shancone, 76 for the Bombers, gets caught.
Well, you can't see the pass interference right there. But Lee Pedersen was so much in the open, if he just would have thrown the ball a little further, it could have been a touchdown.
First down. And touchdown, Tigercats. Rufus Crawford, number 24. On the fourth time, the Tigercats get close, 7-6. Winnipeg leading Hamilton. And there's happiness at Ivor Wynne Stadium.
Well, Crawford isn't going to be denied this second time. He follows in there right behind Graffy, who piles in there ahead. It's just man-for-man blocking right down there, and he goes in 5 yards into the end zone. No doubt about that one.
Bernie Ruoff will look to tie this football game. Lee Pedersen, 71 holds. They'll watch from the end zone. It's good. And the Tigercats with their first touchdown of the afternoon. Even things up at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. It's 7-7.
In 1928 at Canadian Pacific, we knew that service was the name of the game. So we picked up the latest Paris fashions from a ship in the St. Lawrence River and rushed them to Toronto by air. It took only 32 hours. Well, maybe we were a little ahead of our time in 1928. But today, speeding air cargo on its way is a very big part of our business at Canadian Pacific. From hard goods to perishables, from wildlife to still life. We'll jet your freight across Canada or across the world. And the latest Paris fashions? Just give us a call. Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
As you see this is just a power formation, and Graffy is leading right straight ahead in there, and Crawford gets about to the 2-yard line and just leaps into the end zone, but he made it standing up almost, went 5 yards into the end zone, and I'll tell you, Winnipeg still aren't in bad shape, though, coming off that first quarter. Now they've got the wind advantage, and they'll be coming with the football right now.
This is Paul Bennett. He's to the 30, a 25-yard return, and the Bombers with the wind.
Fields and Woods made the tackle.
92 yards passing, Leo, 17 via the rush. So, as you said at the outset, it was going to be Dieter Brock, and that's how they'll have to win this game.
John, you know, I want to point out again that Winnipeg's in pretty good shape. They held Hamilton off that scoreboard with the wind against them that whole first quarter. Now they've got the wind, and it's an even-up ball game, so really the advantage is with Winnipeg right now.
Brock with time. Bruce Wilkins fumbled. Oh, pardon me. It was a shoe that came loose. I thought he dropped the football. But Wilkins hit by Priestner and Zambiazzi. 4-yard pickup.
Gain of 3 on the play, second down and 7. Attention, please. Bill McBride of the Football Hall of Fame, would you please report to the center entrance?
All right, that's the right on Zambiazzi at that time now, and Zambiazzi usually tackles better than that in the open field, but for some reason...
Eugene Goodlow, and he's close to the first down for Winnipeg.
John, for some reason, I've noticed, John, for some reason that Hamilton's not tackling as well as they should be tackling early in this ball game. There's Goodlow right there catching the football, going out of bounds, just a simple sideline pass.
First down, Blue Bombers. 10 yards to go. They stand at their own 42. Tip of the line of scrimmage. And picked up. Zambiazzi, 31 for the Tigercats. I think Grover Covington tipped the ball at the line of scrimmage. Leo, maybe we can see on the replay, but a key play for the Tigercats. Interception.
There goes Brock back right now, and it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. I didn't see who the tip was, but Zambiazzi, as always, his head's up right there, gets the ball, and this is a big break for Hamilton now with the wind against them to get the ball in this kind of field position, because the worst thing that can happen to them is that they're going to punt out of danger here, and that Winnipeg will have a long way to go.
Again, the Tigercats start from inside the Winnipeg 45-yard line. Dave Graff, he stumbled, momentarily regained his balance, grabbed very close to 6 yards. Reggie Pearson, number 8 for the Blue Bombers. He slowed him down. Well, there's the hero of the moment for the Tigercats, Ben Zambiazzi. What a find he's been in his CFL career for this football club.
He came
Former
from that
Shanley winner.
Came from that Georgia team, and Georgia was upset yesterday by Clemson, but they certainly won their share in the last couple of years.
Tom Clements for Stapler. He's got it down to the 2-yard line. Steve Stapler around Don Burrell. Now Burrell is a newcomer to this Bomber secondary. They've made some adjustments back there, but this time Stapler got the best of him.
Here's Clements again. He's going back now, and Stapler's going deep. It's just what you call an up pattern. It's just outrunning everybody back there, and he just catches the ball and goes right down to the 1-yard line or 1.5-yard line. Excellent play, and Hamilton all of a sudden with the wind disadvantage on the 1-yard line, and this is the equalizer that they need right now.
2 big plays in succession. The Tigercats are first down at the Winnipeg Blue Bomber 1-yard line.
Coming into their power formation, and again, it's the same play that they scored on, going the other direction.
The indication is touchdown. The official right on the goal line was a little slow in raising his hand. The touchdown goes to Rufus Crawford, and the Tigercats are out in front for the first time this afternoon.
It's that power formation to the left again, with Graffy leading the play. And Crawford following right in there behind him. He's picking his way pretty neatly. He gets right to the line of scrimmage and then carries right through. All you got to do is just bust that plane at the line of scrimmage, and it's a touchdown. And that was a big break for the Hamilton Tigercats, getting that interception and getting that long pass to Stabler and then going in to score, because that's surely an equalizer for this wind being against them.
Ruoff, right on the money. The Tigercats move out in front by 7 points over the Blue Bombers.
Here's that touchdown one more time, and this guy's got great leg speed. He reminds me of George Dixon a lot. He used to play with the Montreal Alouettes. When he gets down by that goal line, he smells that goal line, and nothing's going to keep him out of there. And he just hurdles himself through the air and gets in there, and all of a sudden, Hamilton is ahead now, 14-7 with 9:52 left in the second quarter.
And there's happiness at Ivor Wynne Stadium. Our congratulations to the CFL Players of the Week. Offensively, Brian Kelly of the Eskimos. The defensive player, Billy McBride of the Saskatchewan Roughriders secondary. And the offensive player of the week, or the offensive lineman, Neil Quilter, lineman of the week in Canadian football. So congratulations. Hamilton Tigercats have had their share of outstanding players in Canadian football on a weekly basis.
There's Mr. Stapler there on the sidelines. He's getting something done, maybe a little tape job done, but I'll tell you, with he and that guy on the other side that catches the ball so well,
Mr. Baker,
you know, they're making, I think maybe Hamilton's got the best battery of receivers in the whole Canadian Football League right now. They're probably challenging Edmonton as far as that's concerned.
We may get arguments from a lot of places on that one, Coach, but I agree that outside speed is certainly an added incentive for Hamilton this year. Paul Bennett across the 31-yard line. Zambiazzi makes the tackle for the Tigercats. That's been a real key difference for the Tigercats, the outside speed.
There's Zambiazzi right now fighting off a block and delivering a blow and shedding the blocker and making the tackle. Fine football play by a fine football player.
9:40 to play in the opening half. Tigercats out in front of the Bombers, 14-7. And a Winnipeg 1st and 10. Pressure on Dieter Brock. He couldn't get away from Grover Covington, number 66. I'd say number 66 is having a pretty good ball game. Tipped one down, and there's his quarterback sack.
Here goes Brock back, and he fakes that draw play to the inside, and then it's going to be a screen back there. But he doesn't have time because, as you say, Covington's in there on top of him, and also a guy by the name of Comet Burley is putting a lot of pressure on him. But That was the fake draw screen, and it's usually an effective play.
This is second down, 26, facing Dieter Brock right now. Bruce Wilkins, and he's well short of the first down. Back to the original line of scrimmage almost.
Young and Priestner made the tackle.
Preston Young and John Priestner stopping Bruce Wilkins.
All right, here goes Brock back. You notice those backs in the backfield checking for the linebackers and then swinging to the outside. He hits that back swing into the outside, and he just catches the ball and drives up there, but he's way short of the first down. But a real nice catch on the thing, and again, Brock using his head and throwing to Wilkins, and Wilkins getting a pretty good gainer.
Stapler. Fields are back for this kick from Bob Cameron. Ramey, number 68, in close. As the Stapler has problems. A 62-yard punt that time by Cameron. And he's to the 25. Rick House makes the tackle for Winnipeg, and the Tigercats go into the wind and start from their 25.
In order for the Tigercats or for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers now to get back into this ball game, they're going to have to hold Hamilton right here and make Hamilton kick against the wind and then get the ball in pretty good field position and do something with it. They gave up their field position on that interception to Zambiazzi.
8:03 to play in the second quarter. Still lots of time for the Bombers to get even in this one before the half. They trail by 7. Plays to Crawford. He throws to Crawford. James Reed couldn't bring him down at the 35-yard line. He finally does. James Reed the tackle on Rufus Crawford. Interesting bit of work there, Leo.
All right, here's James Reed, the middle linebacker right here now. He diagnoses the thing. All of a sudden, he sees that screen going out there to Crawford. He sheds that block, fights away from another block, and almost makes an outstanding defensive play, but holds up long enough for help to come along and get the tackle there by number 60, Chirkus.
First and 10, Tigercats. Again, the fake to Crawford. Clements in trouble. Into the ground. Tony Norman, number 55, getting the heavy pressure on Tom Clements.
Unfortunately for Clements, Rufus Crawford was in the general direction of that play, and so they couldn't call that grounding. But and I think the officials know that Clements can throw off the wrong foot and throw about as crazy as far as the throwing action is concerned as anybody else, so they can't question that that's being grounding because Rupert Crawford was in the general direction.
From the 36-yard line of the Tigercats, it's a second and 10 for Tom Clements. More pressure. This time James Reed, he has him. The ball pops loose. DiPietro recovers for the Hamilton Tigercats, who luckily avoid a problem there. 14-7, Tigercats lead the Blue Bombers, and we'll be back to Ivor Wynn right after this.
In 1911, at Canadian Pacific, we began what was then the largest irrigation project in North America. In southern Alberta, in an area of nearly 2,000 square miles, we built the Bassano Dam and 2,500 miles of irrigation canals and ditches. Our purpose was simple. It was to turn 200,000 acres green.
Today is Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
Okay, well, we'll have to pick up.
It's a Hall of Fame weekend in Hamilton, Ontario. Lots of footballers around the city talking about the game all weekend long. And here we are at Ivor Wynn Stadium. Bernie Ruoff will kick for the Tigercats. Paul Bennett, 27. Gets it inside. Nowhere to go. Ganabakas led the tacklers for the Hamilton Tigercats. And Jim Mueller was also in to help with the stop. So the Bombers come away with pretty good field position.
Well, there's 6:18 left in the second quarter, John, and they've got the win right now. And if they're going to do something, they've got to do it right now in order to get back in this ball game as far as the first half is concerned anyhow.
Quick release to Poplawski. He fights to midfield, the 55-yard line. There's other football going on in Canada these days. The 1981 CIU season is underway. Next Saturday, there will be 9 games played at universities across Canada. And on Friday evening, 2 games are scheduled, including UBC at Calgary. It shapes up as a pretty good match, along with York at Wilfrid Laurier. CIAU football season underway.
Short yardage situation here now. Ray Yawk just sent in his short yardage outfit, and they're in a power formation, a tight line split.
That short yardage outfit includes Mark Jackson at quarterback number 7 in place of Dieter Brock. He has the first down. Obie Graves carried the ball. Well, I thought you were going to be funny this afternoon.
Well, there's nothing funny about this ball game yet so far. I'll tell you, it's kind of tough as far as Winnipeg is concerned to have had so many chances as far as the wind is concerned and blew a couple of them.
Dieter Brock is back in at quarterback. This is first down Winnipeg. Eugene Goodlow. Goodlow gets to the 45-yard line of the Tigercats. Leroy Paul, 27, forced him out.
Here he is right here. It's just Goodlow going down a simple bend out, but Leroy Paul is right there and makes the tackle, and Priestner came over and helped out in a hurry. When you see those backs swing out of the backfield quickly, you know that it's going to be a quick pass as far as Winnipeg's concerned.
2nd and 4, complete to Poplawski. He drags Woods down to the 30-yard line before he's brought down after a 16-yard gain. I like Poplawski. I always have enjoyed watching him play football.
There's Poplawski going downfield right now, and he's just looking to the inside. Just beats the coverage and got the ball right on the numbers, but he was jarred pretty good, and he pulled away from that tackle too. Did an excellent job.
So the Bombers are on a roll. It's 1st and 10. From the Tigercat 30, Brock in trouble. Got it away, intended for House. And there was tight coverage on Rick House that time. Zambiazzi, number 31, and also John Priestner, 36.
Here's the replay right here now. Brock goes straight back. As you can see, there's a lot of pressure on him right there, and he just throws the ball. Actually, if he could have got that ball ahead, he would have made the completion, but he got the ball in a position where Zambiazzi got a hand on it. Could have been a tip and another interception.
2nd and 10. Out of bounds. Bob Gaddis. They ruled it a completion. Number 26, a 13-yard pickup, and a big play for the Bombers.
First down at the Hamilton 17-yard line.
All right, here's that play again. He's out there to Gaddis. He makes the turnout, and he just gets that foot down. You can see on the inside there, and it was a good call by the official. The fans didn't like it, but it was a good call.
Brock looks to the end zone. Too long for Eugene Goodlow. Howard Fields providing the coverage, number 16 for the Tigercats. So that flips it to 2nd and 10. How are you enjoying it?
Well, I think this is going to be a great football game.
I mean working.
Working? It's nice to work for a change, John. We got off too easy there for a long time in that strike. But I think that Winnipeg is playing some excellent football in here, and they're not going to be denied this afternoon. They want to get in that playoff hunt out there in the West.
2nd and 10, Blue Bombers. Brock again. Obie Graves. He's short of the first down. Ben Zambiazzi forced him out. It's 14-7. The Tigercats lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we'll be right back.
In the early days when we ran the railway at Canadian Pacific, there was no doubt about it. It was a railway. Tracks and steam engines and freight cars. It was a railway, all right. And a darn good one, too. Well, time went on, and things progressed, of course. We developed new engines, new freight cars, new techniques. Well, that's progress. But now, look at this. Does that look like a railway? Look at that. Would you know that that's a railway? It's that new intermodal service. Domestic containers for trucks and trains. Slick as a whistle on one or t'other. Less handling, safer freight, door-to-door, more capacity, fuel savings, better service. You know, you young fellas at Canadian Pacific today are doing just fine.
Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday.
But we're planning for tomorrow.
John Wells with Leo Cahill and our CBC sports crew from Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will look for 3 points from Trevor Kennard on a 3rd and 5. Kennard will test the field goal from the 21.
Like I said, John, the thing about Kennard is he makes it very difficult to block these things because he gets them up in the air. You really got to get some penetration of blocking. See that? It's way up in the air and it's right through there.
So that narrows the gap to a 4-point advantage for the Tigercats. Kennard is the 2nd leading scorer in the Western Division of Canadian football. Is 100 points plus 4 this afternoon, 104, and trails Dave Cutler by several. A reminder at halftime this afternoon, CFL in action with Brian Williams. Highlights of the action in Canadian football in the past week. A report on the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies yesterday. And, of course, first half highlights with Leo Cahill. Baker does not make the catch. It looked easy, but he couldn't hang on.
Clement's pass goes incomplete.
Charles Williams, 20 for the Blue Bombers, right with Baker that time. 2 minutes, 21 seconds to play till halftime. Tom Clemens in trouble, and he goes down.
Well, Clemens can get away about as well as anybody, but when you get bracketed, one from the outside, one from the inside, and one from the middle, there's little chance of getting away. And
they were coming from everywhere.
They sure were.
Vernon Paul, 54. And Doc Lucky led the charge. That forces the Tigercats to a punting situation. They call on Bernie Ruoff from his 17.
This is going to be Winnipeg's last chance with the wind to get some points on the board.
Low snap to Ruoff. Good kick away. Paul Bennett, 27. And nowhere to go for Bennett. A 41-yard punt for Bernie Ruoff. A 6-yard return for Paul Bennett.
And Blake was down there to make that tackle, and after that it was just the whole Hamilton team in there after the thing, but it was an excellent kick against the wind for Ruoff.
Bombers from their 40. Brock with some time. Obi Graves close to 5 yards. Stopped by Cam Cartieri, 47. Frank Cush was very impressed with the play of Cartieri when we chatted with him yesterday, Leo.
Yeah, he kind of felt that this kid has come along faster than anybody has had, with the exception of that Mueller kid at defensive tackle. He likes the way he's come along, too. But right now, Hamilton's got a pretty good array of linebackers. Priestner has come great, and Zambiazzi's always been great, and now Cartieri. That makes a pretty good fleet of linebackers.
Brock on 2nd and 6. And it's picked up. Zambiazzi stepped in front of Brickhouse. Peter Brock will have to make the tackle. He failed. And Zambiazzi goes in standing up. A 53-yard interception return by Ben Zambiazzi has Iverwin Stadium on its feet.
There's Brock going out to his left, turns back to his right and throws the long sideline pass, and that's one thing you got to be afraid of when you throw that long sideline pass. It takes a long time getting there. It gives the defense a chance for a little bit better read. Zambiazzi picked it off, overpowered the situation going into the end zone. Brock just got a hand on him, but it didn't even deter him. He never broke stride. He took it right into the end zone, and this gives Hamilton a real lift, especially when they were going against the wind.
Seemed to me Brock was a little behind the intended receiver, Rick House. Bernie Ruoff looks for one more and has it. So the Tigercats up in front.
All right, there's Dieter Brock again, looking back over to his left on a look away, and then he comes right back over here, sees the breakout pattern here on this side, and throws the long pass. Zambiazzi just times it perfectly, takes the ball away and starts down that sideline, takes it away from House, starts down the sidelines, and goes all the way into the end zone standing up. And that's the biggest play of the day, and can be maybe the biggest play of the afternoon as things progress.
An 11-point differential now as the Tigercats have come back from an early Blue Bomber touchdown. Winnipeg leading 7-0. At one point, it's now 21-10. Hamilton leading Winnipeg.
Well, John, that great run of Houses at the beginning of the ball game, and then that interception there by Zambiazzi, those are two fine plays when we start equating who's going to be the outstanding players in the ball game.
Hamilton's Bernie Ruoff. For Paul Bennett. Bennett misjudged the ball. It's over his head. He has to go back to the 8-yard line. And now to the 5. Found some room. But he might have been a touch lucky getting control of that football. Jack Blair, 41. And Ruoff upfield to make the tackle. Ruoff doesn't get in on many, does he?
Geez, John, I'll tell you, it's a funny thing how things can turn around the way they do. When they start going bad, they go bad all the way. That was just a regular, ordinary kickoff. There it is right there, but it's bouncing around, and Paul can't get the handle on it at all. He makes a remarkable recovery right here to get away from a couple of people and to get some kind of field position, but not good enough to really improve them that much.
1:02 to play in the first half, and Brock in trouble. Got it away, almost intercepted. Leroy Paul, 27, had a chance at it. And Leo, I don't know if the pass was intended for Goodlow or Bruce Wilkins.
Well, there's a flag down out there, and I don't know whether it's pass interference or maybe roughing on Brock. It seemed to me like there may have been a late hit on Brock in there, but we'll have to wait and get the decision.
Pass interference, number 47, Hamilton. Be a first down.
That's Cam Cartieri charged.
There's Cartieri right there closing in. Oh, yeah, I would call that a little bit of pass interference. Got a hold of the face guard, too.
Over the middle for Graves. Preston Young, the tackle. Graves has maybe 5.
Just a little bit of a screen. Wasn't a bad play for this time in the ball game right now. They know that Hamilton's going to be putting the pressure on him and coming hard, so they tried to get Hamilton's defensive line sucked in there and just throw that little screen out there.
45 seconds to play in the first half. Brock had some time and couldn't find Bob Gaddis, or at least Gaddis couldn't hang on. 37, Dave Shaw supplying the coverage. Shaw's the veteran of the Tigercats secondary. He was an All-Canadian in 1980. Now 35 seconds to go. The Bombers face a 3rd and 4.
Say, Hamilton's got a pretty good array of defensive backs back there, John. That Paul and that Shaw in the corners, and Woods and Fields at the safeties, and Young in there, Preston Young in there at the rover position. They're going to be pretty tough to beat when they play together for a while.
Cameron with the win for Stapler at the 30. Nowhere to go for Stapler. He lost the ball. Now who's got it? The Bombers maintain that they might have recovered the ball. And I can't see over there in that maze, Leo.
Well, it looks like the official is pointing toward Hamilton's goal line like it might be Winnipeg's ball. Yeah, and here comes Brock back out on the field, so it is Winnipeg's ball, and that's a big break, but there's only 25 seconds left.
Winnipeg ball at the Hamilton 39-yard line.
There's Stapler right there now catching the ball, and he's pretty well hemmed in there. And the ball comes out, and there's no question that it was last touched by a white shirt, so it's Winnipeg's ball.
23 seconds to go. Brock flares one out for Obie Graves. He's out of bounds.
That was heads up by Obie Graves, running out of bounds right there. He got himself a pretty good gain, but saved the clock.
.34, Eugene Goodlow was the last player to touch the ball before it did go out of bounds on the fumble on the return by Stapler, so that's how the Bombers retain possession. Now with 19 seconds to go. 2nd and 5, Winnipeg. Graves again, and Graves to the 30. Comet Burley, 74, the tackle for the Tigercats. 12 seconds remain in the opening half. Peter Brock talking to referee Bill Dell.
Well, there's a full yard here to go, and I got a hunch that they're bringing in the field goal team, and they're going to go for the field goal.
Another reminder at halftime, the CFL in action with Brian Williams, a feature on the Hall of Fame and the inductees yesterday, and first half highlights from here this afternoon. Trevor Kennard will look for 3 points from 37 yards away with Dieter Brock, number 5, holding. It's within his range, and he's got it. So the Bombers add 3 more to their total, and the Tigercats lead 21-13. We'll return in just a moment.
In 1891, the Empress of Japan, one of our first steamships at Canadian Pacific, proudly bore this figurehead. In those days, our ships were fueled by coal, but today they're diesel-powered. Of course, that means fuel economy is a vital necessity. That's why we're building ships with some rather significant fuel-saving improvements. They'll have a new hull design to allow the ship to move through the water with less resistance. They'll have larger propellers so we can use advanced fuel-efficient slow-running engines. And we're researching these techniques for adaptation to other ships of our fleet. At Canadian Pacific, we're trying to squeeze the last drop of efficiency out of our fuel oil, just like you are. And if we still had ships' figureheads today, ours might look something like this.
Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
1 in every 20 Canadians carries the gene for cystic fibrosis, yet doesn't know it. There is a 1 in 4 chance that a child born to 2 carriers of the CF gene will have cystic fibrosis. Parents don't know they're carriers until they have a CF child, because at present, there is no test to detect this gene. A 1 in 4 chance. Only research can help answer the many questions of cystic fibrosis.
Empire Stadium in Vancouver, the BC Lions waste no time in the first minute of play. Heckler blocks Zenon Andrusicyan's punt from the 7-yard line, setting up the opening touchdown. To the left side, number 11, Larry Key, the first of 3 touchdowns he would score against winless Toronto. The Argonauts did show some promise early in the game. Condridge Holloway, a long pass to Martin Cox, 58-yard touchdown, the first for Toronto in a long time, and to many people's surprise, the game is tied at 8. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Joe Paupow to Pancratz, wide open, cuts back for the BC touchdown. Lions led at halftime. In the second half, BC turns it into a rout, wide open, 27-yard reception, Tyrone Gray. The touchdown, again, Paupow passing former Argo Al Sharuk. Good reception in traffic for the Vancouver touchdown. The Lions are just beginning. Larry Key from Paupow is second in the game, and the BC fans love it. However, Tom Hutsmith now knows how Willie Wood has suffered this year in Toronto. And to make it really hurt, Paupow gambling on a 3rd down to Larry Key, his 3rd touchdown of the game. BC Lions win. They are 8-3. The winless Argos 0-11. From the sunshine and clear skies of Vancouver to the rain, cold, and wind of Calgary's McMahon Stadium, The Edmonton Eskimos' first offensive series. Moon passing to Scott. They are stopped. The interception in the end zone by Napoleon Ingram. However, Edmonton too good to keep off the scoreboard. Their second possession. Warren Moon goes back, looks to the end zone. Wide open. Waddell Smith, his 6th touchdown of the year. Second quarter with the wind at their backs. Ken Johnson replacing starting quarterback Bruce Threadgill. It's James Sykes on a screen play. Joe Holloman will get back into the play to help Mike McLeod with a tackle. However, the Edmonton Eskimos were able to stop the Stampeders after that big game, Calgary managing only a single point. The picture describes the playing conditions late in the second quarter. Gary Hayes has difficulty, and you can see why, with a wet football when hit by Frank Kosick, and the Stampeders get excellent field position. With Ken Johnson and Tom Forzani combining, Calgary scores on a third down gamble all alone. Forzani from the end zone, 13-9, halftime for Edmonton. Fourth quarter, Jim Germany inside, cuts back outside. That touchdown gives the Edmonton Eskimos a 21-10 lead. Any hopes of a Calgary comeback were wiped out when Ken McLeod makes the interception, one of 3 interceptions by Edmonton during the game. And the powerful Eskimos continue to roll in this 1981 season. They win it last night, their 9th win. They are now 9-1-1. And that's week number 12 in the CFL.
Spend a little time with Sanyo, and you'll have the time of your life. It's a big sound that goes a long way. It's never missing your favorite play.
It's a meal prepared while you're away.
It's enjoying sports in a big way. Spend a little time with Sanyo, a little time of your life. 'Cause Sanyo makes life's good things better.
Prestone 2 will show you what happens inside your radiator if your antifreeze is weak and neglected. Look, after only 9,000 miles, rust, corrosion, continued neglect can clog passages, causing costly damage. But look at this radiator. After 9,000 miles of Prestone 2, total protection, a real difference. Prestone 2's patented silicone silicate formula bonds to all metals, including aluminum, to lock out corrosion. Tested, proven protection. Get Prestone 2, the corrosion fighter.
Tuesday on CBC, somebody is seeing things.
No murder weapon, no fingerprints. We're just going to talk to him.
I despise the man.
Where did you take my son? What's this about a naked lady?
You know what I think? I think that the 2 of them killed the 2 of them.
What?
Louis, will you please hold the light? I want to get this done. I feel like Bela Lugosi.
Seeing Things, Tuesday at 8:30 in Newfoundland on CBC.
It's halftime in Hamilton, and the Tigercats in control, leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 21-13. This is the Hall of Fame weekend, a big weekend of celebration for Canadian Football League players, past and present. And it's a great time to look back and reflect on some of the fond memories of CFL in the years gone by.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to compliment these gentlemen on their induction to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. I think that we can all safely say that it's only through their incentives, their drives and ambitions that they've found themselves here today. So I'd like to congratulate you by presenting these jackets, which is the official Canadian Football Hall of Fame jacket. Congratulations.
And it's a great, great thing to be a member of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
I'm pleased to have been invited here tonight to introduce Eck Duggan in the builder category. But Eck, I think you should know, as a matter of fact, you probably do know, that when you're the commissioner of the Canadian Football League. By the time you get two-thirds of the way through the season, you're pleased to be invited anywhere. But even though Eck is being inducted in the category of builder, his participation in 53 years in the league began back in 1927 when he was a quarterback candidate for the Edmonton Eskimos. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eck Duggan.
I'm happy to be here and proud of the fact that the Management Selection Committee chose to give me the opportunity to be in this position. I wish all who should be in it can get in it, and I wish them well. Thank you so much.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as a speaker, I always get a shot when you have to pull the microphones down. And so I'll now tell you who I was taller than in the CFL. Vince Scott and Len Chandler. 5 Grey Cups in 19 years as head coach. A very enviable record. Ladies and gentlemen, the professor, Mr. Frank Clare.
It's hard to say, look back 30 years and be so satisfied in your life. Thank you very much. I hope I, again, can come back and be a guest at this wonderful occasion. Thank you very much.
While we all strive for that elusive quality called class, old number 73 has got it. Red O'Quinn, you're one classy guy.
I would like to thank the selection committee for their astuteness in selecting Frank and Jerry and Eric and I into the Hall of Fame. It's, as Frank said, it's one of the greatest honors that you could have.
Jerry's father, Eddie James, was one of the great veterans of the Western Football Conference in the 20s and 30s. And Jerry has now followed in his father's athletics footsteps.
I know out there somewhere, my dad knows about this night. And Dad, I want you to know that you gave me the drive to succeed and to try to match your accomplishments on the field.
It's turned into a great afternoon at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, and Tigercat supporters are the happiest. They lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at halftime. And coming up next, Leo Cahill will be along with first half highlights.
Firestone tires play a vital part in developing Canada's energy resources. Our role in energy conservation is just as important. The 721 Fuel Fighter, a steel-belted radial tire that's lean on gas and long on mileage. The new 721 Fuel Fighter from Firestone.
X11.
Step ahead, step ahead.
Feel how it works.
Step ahead, step ahead.
1981 Citation X11. It gives you goosebumps.
Chevy is a step ahead.
Sunday on CBC. Two friends try to make wishes come true.
I wish to see flowers growing in the sand.
I wish I was brave enough to go on a boat for a ride.
And introducing Janet.
Hey, 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 it's the Big J.
She was a class clown until she met...
Tony Maroney.
Look, all I'm saying is you should be yourself.
Sunday special starting at 7:30. 8 in Newfoundland on CBC.
Well, I think really that the story of that first half, John, was Zambiase. I mean, making those outstanding plays. And as far as Winnipeg was concerned, they kept Hamilton off that scoreboard with the wind against them for that first quarter. And then Hamilton really had to do their scoring after the first quarter was over. But here's the play that Brock threw the ball out here. It was caught out there by House. He just busted this tackle by Fields right there, broke away, made another move down here and got away from Carterry right there, broke into the open. He's not really fast. There was a block thrown right there that just slowed down Comet Burley just enough to let him go all the way, and it was an outstanding play. They went ahead 118, 7-0. All right, now here's a play where Clemens is back, and I think he's hitting Rocky DiPietro here. Right, that's Rocky DiPietro, and he's setting up a touchdown by Crawford on that catch. Now here's Clemens handing off to Crawford, and he's piling it right into the end zone. All right, now Clemens is sprinting out this time. Throws the ball deep right here, and Stabler makes an outstanding catch right here, taking the ball right down to the 1-yard line, setting up another touchdown. There you see Crawford right there following again. Big number 32, Graffy, who piles through there. Big fullback from Wilford Laurier down the street, and he goes in there for the touchdown. All right, now Brock is rolling out to his left right here, and he looks back to his right. This is a long throw. He never probably should have made this throw. Zambiase, always alert, grabs the ball and takes it and goes right down the sidelines. There's only one guy to beat here now, and that's the guy that threw the ball, Mr. Brock. But Brock is no match for the strength of Zambiase. He takes the ball in the end zone standing up.
Leo, an outstanding first half from a lot of points of view, but I think if you look at the Hamilton Tigercats, they were opportunists in the first half, as you did mention. The interceptions and the way they were able to control, even though Winnipeg got out to that early lead.
It was an amazing thing, though, when you stop to think of it, John. As far as Winnipeg was concerned, there was a big wind blowing there in the first quarter, and they kept Hamilton, although Hamilton had repeated field position, they kept them off the scoreboard all the way through the first quarter, and Hamilton didn't score until the first part of that second quarter. Winnipeg had some chances. And I'm going to tell you something. I felt sorry for Winnipeg coming into this ball game this afternoon, but they're out there playing some football, and Hamilton's playing pretty well, too, other than a couple real big plays, you know, by Zambiase and the Hamilton defense. Winnipeg is really in this ball game, and right now the score is 21-13, and I think it's anybody's ball game yet.
Leo, I want to take a look at a couple of stats because there are some interesting comparisons in this football game. If you look at the Blue Bombers, they've picked up substantial yardage through the air, but only have 13 points on the scoreboard at this point. Well, the Tigercats, always the opportunist at least this afternoon, their passing yardage substantially less than Winnipeg, but they do lead the football game and have a substantial lead in that area right now. The fumbles and the turnovers, as far as the Tigercats are concerned, really turn things around for Hamilton. The interception by Ben Zambiase, one for the touchdown, another one setting up a touchdown. 2 interceptions on the afternoon for 56 yards, and he really has to be the story of the game, as you did outline. Well, the Hamilton Tigercats coming back from a deficit, and I thought when we saw the Blue Bombers go out 7-0, I didn't think they were going to run away with a football game, Leo, but I thought maybe we might be in for a closer game. Do you anticipate anything like that in the second half?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I didn't anticipate Winnipeg doing as strongly as they had out here this afternoon. As I said, they come in here with some injuries. They come in here as kind of the underdogs, and Hamilton's been playing some great football all year long, and then they have to go against the wind the first quarter, but they hold Hamilton off that board, and I think that's just doing a great job. And, you know, when you look at the score and it's 21-13, it's not a bad score going into the second half, and Winnipeg's still in the ball game.
Are you having a good time?
Oh, I'm having a great time. It's nice to be up here and not having to worry about making those decisions on the sideline.
Okay, and we'll be back with the second half from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton right after this.
Chevy is a step ahead.
When my working day's done and it's finally time to get easy way to head for home's my Chevrolet Chevette. It's comfort, style, and economy, my Chevette all the way.
Chevy's a step ahead. Chevy is, Chevette is. Chevy is a step ahead.
I've been making more comparisons between Mattel Electronics in television and Atari. Different games, but the same results. Look at Atari basketball and in television. I think in television plays much more like real basketball. Here's Atari soccer and in television. Again, I find in television more sophisticated and lifelike. If you try them both, I think you'll find the clear winner is in television from Mattel Electronics.
Hi, I'm Valdi, and I'm committed to ending world hunger in this century. Today, in the African nation of Somalia, millions of starving refugee women and children need our support, and they need it now. Please send a donation to the UN Somalian Relief, 280 Albert Street, Ottawa, Ontario. We can make the difference between life and death in Somalia. This message brought to you by the Hunger Project and this station.
John Wells, along with Leo Cahill and our CBC sports crew, live from Ivor-Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. A sunnier afternoon than when we started. It was a little chilly this morning as we prepared for this football game. But you're here for the debut of Leo Cahill on CBC television. You said you were enjoying it. You've had your baptism. You've done your highlights. An outstanding job at halftime.
Here comes my old friends out onto the field, too, John, the Zebras and their striped shirts. And you heard those boos going up from the stands. Everybody accused me of not liking officials. I think that was a little bit pretentious on their part because I always got along fine with officials. There was nothing wrong with those officials. I call them all kind of names, but I think they understood that I was just a very emotional guy, that's all.
Well, they've avoided controversy this afternoon. How did you enjoy doing the highlights? Did you find that an easy task?
Let me tell you something, John. You learn something up here. This is the first shot for us, you know, this year, and you're an old hand at this thing, but this is my first time out, and I think as we go along, we're going to get better all the time, or I'm going to get better all the time, but those highlights come at you awful quick, and you got to make some quick decisions, and this is almost like standing down the sidelines and telling that quarterback whether he should go for it on third down or not.
How many coaching decisions have you made this afternoon?
I haven't made any. You know, the coaching decisions, I get a kick out of these coaches. When it comes to a real close decision, they normally turn their back on the quarterback and walk over and take that long drink of water. And by the time they get finished taking that drink of water, the quarterback has had to call the player, run out of time. So,
except for George Brancato, who sucks on the ice for the Ottawa Rough Riders. The Tigercats coming onto the field, and there's our broadcast location, high atop Ivor-Wynne Stadium. Our helpful statisticians and spotters, and of course the former coach of the Toronto Argonauts, joining us on the telecast this afternoon. Art Darch and Doug Kelcher helping us ably here this afternoon, and I'm wondering if you thought it was going to be difficult or easy, or how you're reacting to that side of things.
Well, I tell you, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but I got to take my hat off to our camera crew. I think they're doing a sensational job. They got some of those isolated pictures of some of that scoring and some of the things that happened, that great interception and things like that, and did a marvelous job. And they make our job a lot easier for us up here, John.
Leo, 21-13 the score. The Tigercats out in front. How does the Winnipeg Blue Bomber coaching staff prepare for the second half? We've already pointed out how important this game is for the Bombers.
Well, the way I look at it right now, John, I think that probably Hamilton's going to end up with the ball and the wind in the fourth quarter, and that's going to be a big part of this football game right now. So I think probably Frank Cush has told them at halftime now, we're leading the ball game 21-13. Now we don't want to give them any more than a field goal while they've got that wind advantage in the third quarter. That'll make it 21-16, even if we don't score. And then the fourth quarter, we're going to score a couple and take it away from them. So I think that they feel over on the Hamilton bench that if they can hold Winnipeg off of, you know, stealing some plays and maybe making some fumble recoveries or interceptions to gain field position, that this wind out here today is going to be a definite factor in the fourth quarter.
I know we had a feature on the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies at halftime, but our congratulations to the four inductees for 1981. Jerry James from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Frank Clare of the Ottawa Rough Riders, Red O'Quinn from Montreal and Ottawa, and Eric Duggan from Edmonton, a builder back in the early days of Canadian football. A lot of famous names inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Jerry James from the Bombers, an outstanding Canadian fullback in this league. Frank Clare, the old professor. You coached against him many times.
I sure did, and I used to hate Frank Clare when he'd be standing on the sidelines and get ahead of me in that fourth quarter. He'd pretend like he had a 9-iron or something and start hitting golf shots over on the sidelines in that fourth quarter, and I knew then that he had to be ahead in the ball game.
Well, as you suggested, Hamilton would likely be trying to get the win in the fourth quarter. They have it.
I see my old buddy over there on the sidelines, John Ray Yawk. Now he's got his team together, and I can't help but think every time I look at Ray Yawk at the time that I was coaching at the University of Toledo, and Ray was going to Mendota High School, which was about 10 miles from my hometown. And I went down there as a coach from the University of Toledo to try to get him to go to the University of Toledo, and he'd made up his mind he wanted to go to a big school, the University of Iowa. So I went in there to school and picked him up and took him into a special room and took a look at him. He's a skinny little guy with a white T-shirt and a pair of Levi's on. I said, listen, Ray, there's no way that you're ever going to make it in the Big Ten, so you got to come with me to Toledo. I'll give you your evening meal and maybe some books, but you got to come with me to Toledo. He said, no, Coach, I think I'll take a chance on the Big Ten. Well, the end of that story was when I got up here coaching and he was coaching over in Edmonton, I went up to him and I said, well, I told you couldn't make it in the Big Ten. And the story behind that was that he was an all Big Ten halfback and later went on to be a great football player for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and finally their coach, and now over there getting ready for this second half.
And it's underway. Paul Bennett at the 7 for the Blue Bombers. And Winnipeg will start with the prevailing wind from their 30-yard line. Ed Gedavakis making the tackle. Second half underway, 21-13. Tigercats ahead of the Bombers. What color did Ray Yawk have on his, what color hair did Ray Yawk have back in those days?
Oh, he was just a young lad right there with nice black hair, wavy hair, and a nice clean-cut looking boy. He's
Offside and a
still a fine
kickoff,
athlete.
number 6, Hamilton.
That's what coaching will do for you.
Number 6 from Hamilton was offside. They got to do it all over again. Talking about Frank Cush on the other side of that field over there playing against Ray Yawk. These are two great competitors, you know. Frank is a runner and a great conditioner. Ray Yawk is a racquetball player and a handball player. If you ever got Cush and Yawk in the same handball court, there'd be blood all over the walls. These guys really go after each other, and that's the way their teams play. And it's, you know, it's kind of symbolic of the coaching staff as to how their team plays. And they're both going out and going after people this afternoon, and this is going to be a great second half of football.
I'd like to watch that racquetball game. I'm sure it would be extremely competitive. Bernie Ruoff having problems with the football, keeping it on the tee. There's Paul Bennett and his statistics. And kickoff returns. Time a low flat kick. Bennett again, now at the 30. Up to the 32, and again, Gedavakis, 39 for the Hamilton Tigercats, making the tackle.
I think John Priestner helped on that tackle, too, number 36. But, you know, it looks like one of the things that you look at in terms of whether a team wants to play or not is how they play on those special teams. And when you kick that ball off to Paul Bennett and he can't get anywhere with it, that's a pretty good indication that that coverage team is doing a job.
Leo, Vernon Paul, 54 for the Blue Bombers, the injured player. I think we've got a peek at exactly what happened.
There's the tackle right there. And you were right.
Submarined underneath.
Yeah, it looks like they fell on his leg.
News on the field appears brighter as Paul is off mostly under his own steam. Capable hands of the Blue Bomber training staff headed by Pat Clayton. And the Bombers start with a 1st and 10 from their 32. It's time to get things rolling for Dieter Brock. All kinds of time, Eugene Goodlow. Or rather Graves. Obie Graves, 24. 27, Leroy Paul for the Tigercats makes the tackle. Now, Graves.
Actually, Graves kind of pulled away from Paul and got enough yardage in there to almost get the first down. It's very short right here. We'll see it here on the replay. Brock goes back, and you watch Brock's throwing action right here. He almost throws a sidearm because that defensive rush is right there in his face. Graves gets the ball here and gets past Paul, really, but the help comes from Zambiazzi, and he still almost gets that first down, though. There's just a short half a yard to go for that first down.
And that wind is kicking up at Iverwind Stadium.
And I think that the thing that's going through Dieter Brock's mind and also Coach Yawk's mind is that the third quarter is going to be theirs as far as the wind is concerned, so they're not going to waste too much time running with that football. They're going to know that if they got to get back in this ball game and get ahead in it and win this ball game, it's got to be on the throwing arm of Dieter Brock.
Number 7, Mark Jackson at quarterback for the Bombers. In a short yardage situation, they need less than a yard.
Jackson is in there, isn't he? for the quarterback sneak. No problem with the first down. Here comes Brock back right now into the ball game.
First down.
Far side of the field, Vernon Paul, 54, appeared to be okay after being shaken up on the punt return. First down, Blue Bombers, just shy of their 50-yard line at the 48.5. Brock had time. And Goodlow, the intended receiver, slipped down. I think the pass was behind him, however.
I think if that pass was thrown straight, it might have been an interception, so it's just as well that he did throw it behind him.
Tigercats lead the Bombers 21-13. Third quarter just underway, 13:28 to play.
Both teams will do the same thing with their running backs in the backfield, John. They'll step up and look for the linebackers coming. If they're not coming, they'll both go out into the patterns themselves.
Brock can't get away. Trapped at the 50-yard line by Carteri.
Well, Cameron will be kicking from here, and although they're on their own 50-yard line, he ought to get a good kick up in the air, and it should ride pretty good with the wind. And what Winnipeg has got to do if they're going to get back in this ball game and take advantage of this wind factor in the third quarter is to hold Hamilton down in their own end and make Hamilton kick against that wind.
Bob Cameron will punt for Winnipeg.
Acadia University boy.
Great breeze behind that one. It sails into the end zone. Stapler. And he's out to the 5. Good return by Stapler. I didn't think he'd have time to get away. Tigercats lead the Bombers 21-13, and we'll be right back.
Canada is a world leader in agricultural production. The government of Canada invests some $160 million annually in research, supporting the activities of Agriculture Canada, which employs 735 scientists and operates 43 research facilities across the country, and funds projects conducted by provinces, universities, and private industry. The money invested often pays off in a dramatic breakthrough. A generation ago, rapeseed or canola was virtually unknown as a food product. Today, salad oil, mayonnaise, and margarine are all manufactured from oils derived from canola. The 330,000 Canadians who are farmers know the value of agricultural research. They depend on it. We all do. If you'd like to know more about this subject, write to us for free information. Brought to you by the Government of Canada.
The Hamilton Tigercats face a stiff breeze. They lead by 8 points and will start from their own 12-yard line. Third quarter action from Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton.
And Clements better watch with these long sideline passes that he throws in this wind, too, because Winnipeg could pick one of them off.
Some heat for Tom Clements. He eludes it. DiPietro. Should be very close to a first down. 23, Rocky DiPietro, stopped by James Reed. That's a big play for the Tigercats.
Here's a replay of it right here. Clements gets the ball and starts back, fakes that draw in there to Crawford, looks for the screen over there to Crawford, but it's covered. The defense reacted, and he just spins away and goes back to his right, throws the ball in here, and the always alert DiPietro catches the ball for a real good gainer and a first down.
Rufus Crawford. He ran into Anthony Norman, number 55. No running room on the left side. I'll tell you, I thought Clements came dangerously close to giving up 2 at that point.
He ran back in the end zone, and that would constitute a safety if they caught him back in there when he was running back into the end zone. But, boy, he's elusive, and unless they, like in the first part of the ball game when they bracketed him, John, and got him from 3 different angles, then he's pretty hard to get away. But if you just got him one-on-one, he can get away most of the time. 2nd and 8.
Over the middle, Clements has a completion.
hit
George
Crawford,
Patterson.
or Patterson it was. Hit Patterson in there in the middle, and it was one of those real quick reaction passes where that's where Clements will look immediately in there and look at his slot backs. And that time Patterson was uncovered. And as soon as he sees him uncovered, in other words, a linebacker not right in his face, he'll look to give him the ball right away and let him run to daylight right down the seam. And he caught that ball and almost made a first down on it.
Ruoff, number 10 for the Tigercats.
This is an important punt for Ruoff. He's got to try to get field position on this punt and get it down there against the wind. See, it's hung up that much. Hasn't gone much at all. Got a delayed bounce though, and Bennett again can't do anything. And again, Hamilton is doing just a fantastic job of covering and getting down under those kicks. That was Fields who made that tackle.
Howard Fields and Ed Ganavekas to make the tackle. So the Bombers get standing field position on the exchange. They'll start from their 51 and have 10 minutes and 34 seconds to play here in the third quarter.
And time's wasting, John. Time is definitely wasting because they've got to get on the scoreboard this third quarter with that wind, a tremendous factor out there, and they know it.
Obie Graves across midfield and down to the 53-yard line. Next Saturday on Sports Weekend, live coverage of the 52nd running of the Gray Stakes from Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto. Also, the Canada Games for the physically disabled, and a report on the all-important Calgary Olympic Association's bid to host the 1988 Winter Olympic Games in Alberta. And have some information on whether or not Calgary is successful sometime in the next week or so.
2nd and 5. Brock should be just looking for the first down.
He's going long, though. Far side. Gaddis can't make the catch. Close coverage supplied by David Shaw.
Actually, it was 2nd down and about 4.5 or 5 yards to go, John, and he really didn't need that long a pass. We're going to get a look at that last play again right here, right now. There he goes back, and he should just be looking for that 4 or 5 yards. Instead of that, he's throwing the ball all the way across the field. And again, if that ball is thrown accurately, Paul may have intercepted that thing and gone all the way for a touchdown. So that's a dangerous pass to throw against the wind. Or I mean with the wind, I should say, because the ball carries.
On 3rd down, Cameron steps across his 45. And with the wind, not a great punt. He's out of bounds at the 22, maybe 23-yard line. Try and get it high and sail it in.
That's right. The fates are smiling on the Hamilton Tigercats so far because that punt, by all right and reason, should have got up in the air and maybe carried back into the end zone, but it was a poorly kicked ball, and Hamilton's got the ball now on the 24-yard line, which isn't bad field position considering that they've got that tremendous wind factor down there.
Punt only traveled 26 yards, although he was angling for the corner. It still gives the Tigercats pretty reasonable field position considering the wind that the Cats are going into.
I think Clements is going to be throwing too many deep passes. I think he'd probably do something like this and try to keep the ball on the ground and try to steal some first downs or throw short. One thing, again, that Clements has got to be very concerned about is that he likes that sprint-out pass where he throws that long sideline pass. And throwing it against this wind, it can hang and they can intercept it in there. So he's got to throw the ball short and just try to steal some first downs here. Play for field position again.
The gain on that play for Rufus Crawford, barely a yard at 2nd and 9. From the 25, Tom Clements. Time to throw. Keith Baker, very close to the first down, near the 35. Charlie Williams, 20, supplying the defensive coverage for the Bombers.
That's all you really need, John. We're going to get another look at it right here. Here comes Clements back right now, and all he really needs is something to get a first down. He spies Baker out there on the sidelines, and Baker very alertly spins away from that coverage and takes it to the sideline side as far as the pass is concerned, and that averts any chance for an interception on that pass. If he threw it to the inside, it could be intercepted, but he worked himself into the open and played it safe as far as his positioning was concerned so that Clements could get him the ball without any danger of an interception.
Interesting point, Leo. That was Baker's first catch of the afternoon. We talked about his speed and the outside threat of Baker and Stapler. We really haven't gone to Baker except that last play. It's that close. Well, Joey Walters having such an outstanding season with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Waddell Smith and James Scott with Montreal. Some outstanding receivers in Canadian football this season, but some outstanding passers getting them the football.
Second. Oh, it's third and very short, and they're going for it here. In spite of whether you make a third down opportunity like that or not. Excuse me, we'll go to commercial.
Okay, we'll be right back.
The search for fuel in the Arctic has been underway for many years. Who will protect the delicate balance of the Arctic's people and its environment? Will it mean the destruction of the North? These are two of the many issues naturalist John Livingston probes in Arctic Oil, a book based on a Nature of Things program. Arctic Oil is available in bookstores, or send $14.95 to CBC Merchandising, Box 500, Station A, Toronto, M5W 1E6.
Tom Clements and the Tigercat offense have a first down from their 35-yard line, heading into the wind. 7:46 to play here in the third quarter. A crucial time for the Bombers to come up with a defensive play.
That was a crucial time to be going for it on third down against the wind, too. I'm surprised that they did that.
Bradley across the 40 to the 45-yard line. James Reed making the stop. Dave Graffey hasn't hurt the Tigercat offense at all this afternoon.
Well, I'll tell you, he's a big, strong-looking back going through there. Runs with pretty good balance. I said to Mark Bragagnola the other day, I said, you're liable to stay out of there long enough, and this Graffey's liable to take your job. And he says, well, I'll win it back when I come back, Coach. So that's a good attitude.
There's Mr. Graffey. And again, this time, not quite. Graffey, the ball carrier. Substantial yardage he picked up on the last play, but a couple nonetheless.
And a big first down, too, and that's important. Right, here's Graffey just taking a simple belly play and just piling right in there and running the daylight. It's one-on-one blocking, and there's nothing confusing or difficult about it. It's just using your eyes and getting that first down.
Ticats lead by 8. Rufus Crawford to the 50. Ron Churkus, number 60. Now, Churkus has some rather big shoes to fill this afternoon. He's in place of John Helton, who was injured last week against Saskatchewan. Actually, Churkus plays the right tackle, but he's moved over to the left side with York Henschel moving into Churkus's normal position. This is 2nd and 8, Tigercats. Clements avoids it again and has Rocky DiPietro at the 41-yard line. Paul Bennett the tackle, and Frank Cush should have been smiling if he wasn't. An 18-yard pickup. Right on the money, Tom Clements to Rocky DiPietro.
Here's Clements now going back. He's getting excellent protection right there. Washuk just gets enough wood on him to get him past the quarterback right there, and he throws it right in there. If it was off 6 inches, it would have been an interception, but that's Clements for you.
And he's back to throw again. Keith Baker inside the 25-yard line, his second reception of the afternoon. Maybe they spotted something. Reggie Pearson was defending on the play. .449 to play in the third quarter from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. And a first down again for Tom Clements and the Tigercats. Away again. Dave Graffey makes the reception.
That's just an outstanding job right there by James Reed at middle linebacker. He read that and got over and made that play, or it could have been a touchdown or a long gainer at least.
Second down, a little better than 10 to go for the Tigercats now. Wind seems to have died down just a little bit.
But you know what Hamilton's doing? They're biding time. They're playing against the wind, and they've used up all but 4 minutes and 3 seconds of this third quarter. Clements is again playing the surgeon role and doing a great job.
Deep in the end zone, double coverage on Stapler, number 3. It was not a particularly well-thrown football. Well, CFL action continues on CBC next weekend. Montreal at Edmonton. That's next week in the CFL. The next Sunday, the 27th, Calgary at Toronto. And that'll be your second telecast, Mr. Cahill.
Right, that'll be right back in my home backyard here. Here they're going for the field goal here now. Ruoff. Pedersen holding the ball.
It's wide. And the single point conceded by the Blue Bombers. Ian Mofford, 28, going down to concede the point. Bernie Ruoff thinks it might have been through. But he's wearing glasses, he should know.
Bernie Ruoff better be still or he'll be kicking from the sideline.
3 minutes, 24 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Tigercats out in front, 22-13 as a result of that single points. The Bombers take over and try to get it going offensively from their 35.
Just 3:22 remaining.
Dieter Brock has time to the outside for Bob Gaddis. He's out of touch. A 22-yard pickup, and we'll be back. The Bomber first down in just a moment.
Firestone tractor tires. Many Canadian farmers count on them because they know they can't count on the weather. And neither can you. So Firestone engineers designed an all-season radial tire for dependable performance 12 months of the year. The new Trax 12 from Firestone.
There's a lot going on in the marsh. We help to keep it that way. We're the Nature Conservancy of Canada. Write us at 2180 Yonge Street, Toronto, to find out how you can help.
John Wells along with Leo Cahill, Fiberwind Stadium in Hamilton. Blue Bombers trail by 9. They have a first down. The Tigercat 53. Nowhere to go for Obie Graves. It was Jim Mueller from Queens in there to make the tackle on Graves.
Mueller looked like he hit the gap that time and just came free. It was a good play, and he got to Obie Graves before God got the news. It's just a... Here's a replay on it right there. Watch the right defensive tackle there. Plays off the block and just goes right straight through on the penetration. A good job by Mueller.
Live action, 2nd and 10. Graves on the outside. Priestner, good tackle to prevent the first down yardage from being obtained at the 45. Bombers are short. Third, a little better than 2, I'd say. 2 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the third quarter. And Jackson comes in. Leo, they're going for it.
Well, you know, with 2.5 yards to go, I don't see the advisability. I think they put Jackson in there in a short yardage situation, maybe for his strength in a quarterback sneak, but he's certainly not going quarterback sneak it. And why wouldn't they let Brock do anything else that they were going to do?
Now Graves comes reasonably close to the
I think he's got
yardage. Preston Young makes the tackle. But I'll bet we see a measurement.
Might be a measurement, but he's got the first down, I'm pretty sure.
What goes through your mind if you're Ray Yawk on the sidelines at this point?
Ray is saying to himself, I hope this works, because if I don't, they'll be after me on Monday morning.
The Bombers have the first down by maybe a foot and keep the drive alive. Really looking at that scoreboard, Leo, 22-13. The game is far from being in the complete control of the Hamilton Tigercats. The Bombers can punch something in here.
Well, they've got to take advantage of this little time that's left with the wind. Got to get some points on the board with the wind here.
Eugene Goodlow. Leroy Paul, 27, providing the defensive coverage. Goodlow very close to 8 yards on the reception.
Brock has got that rifle for an arm. That's a long pass, and again, it's a pass that could be dangerous if that defensive man reacts too quickly, but he got it over to Goodlow, and Goodlow got the good yardage on it, and as a result, they're down there about to the 34-yard line with the second and just a little bit over 2 yards to go for the first down.
And just under a minute to play in the third quarter. Jim Mueller and Obie Graves just across the line of scrimmage.
Well, there's no question where they're at right now that Coach Yock is going to go for it again if he went for it the last time. I think he may be a little bit short here, but they're going to go for it.
Well, not 2.5 yards short.
Well, about 18 inches short.
Third down.
Third down.
And Jackson comes in again. Mark Jackson has not seen a great deal of duty as a quarterback with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Dieter Brock's statistics of 1980 really have set that out.
I kind of like Mark Jackson when he was with the Toronto Argonauts. Reminds me a little bit of Bobby Lane that used to play with the Detroit Lions. He's a real tough kid and a pretty good leader.
Jackson keeps himself.
He got it.
Jackson, the ball carrier.
And 23 seconds remain in the third. Not a bad ball game this afternoon.
Oh, I think it's a great football game considering that Winnipeg has had some problems and that you're playing on Hamilton's home ice. And, you know, Hamilton is really tough to come in here and play against because that fan reaction means so much to them, and they play so very well at home.
The official indication confirms what Mr. Cahill just said. A first down for the Blue Bombers.
John, I keep saying this, but there's no question about it. They've got to get on. There's only 16 seconds left here now, and if they do get the ball now going down the other end, they're going against the wind. And right now, they got to go for the fences.
Brock eludes 2 tacklers and pitches out. Bruce Wilkins almost to the 5-yard line. I don't know if that one was in the playbook, but it seemed to work fairly well.
Mr. Brock looked like a split-T quarterback on that one. He took the ball, kept it, and started down the field there and just shuttle passed with his left hand out to the outside, and it was a great play.
The third quarter is over. The Tigercats lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 22-13. We'll be back after this.
Chevy trucks for trucking down the road.
The 1981 Chevy pickups, built for the 80s with trimmer weight and the same hefty payload capacity, plus a new 4-wheel drive system and energy-conscious engines like diesel power, an Advance 6, and a new V8. And now nobody beats the Chevrolet fuel economy rating for 6-cylinder full-size pickups.
Chevy trucks, great styling is a step ahead.
Nelson's on the road again with K-Tel's Country Bound, a great new album featuring country sensation Charlie McClain.
Who's cheating and who's being true?
Country Entertainer of the Year, George Jones.
He stopped loving her today.
The incredible Slim Whitman.
When comes the day I'll stop searching.
Crystal Gale.
If you ever change your mind.
Canada's own Carol Baker.
We're like a Hollywood love.
Mickey Gilley, The Family Brown, and Mo Bandy. Canadian Zephyr, Dick Damrod, and Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers.
Take me to your love place.
Janie Prickey.
'Cause I think I'm down to my last broken heart.
Saddle up and get Country Bound, part of K-Tel's Sound Celebration. Country Bound is in stores now.
Start of the fourth quarter, the Bombers threaten first down Goal to go from the Tigercats 6-yard line. Mark Jackson in at quarterback, keeps himself. Jackson inside the 2, fumbled the ball. Hamilton has recovered. The Tigercats have recovered. Ben Zambiazzi makes the recovery. Harm Cartieri stripped the ball from Mark Jackson. It turns around so quickly.
Here it is right here. Mark Jackson's running the split T option play, and he keeps to the inside. You notice that ball is on the inside arm, and it gets knocked loose because he didn't shift it to his outside arm. It gets knocked loose by Cartieri, I believe it was, or by Zambiazzi, and Cartieri recovered. I don't know which was which, but both of them were in on the play. And it was a question that time of Mark Jackson taking the ball, starting out on the option, deciding to duck up inside and try to score himself, but he forgot to shift that ball to the right arm and get it away from danger. And the ball, and the defensive man came in and jammed his head at the ball, loosed the ball up, and it's a recovery, and Hamilton's got the biggest break of the ball game.
Cartieri is the injured Hamilton Tigercat. I believe the credit goes to Ben Zambiazzi for the recovery of the ball. Cartieri shaken up on the play.
John, you know, that was almost a duplication of the first quarter when Winnipeg kept Hamilton off the scoreboard the entire first quarter, and then Hamilton went down the first play of the second quarter, I believe it was, and scored to get on the scoreboard. Now this time it was just the opposite. Winnipeg couldn't do anything, and then they got the first play of the second quarter. Here it is again. It's just a regular split T option. Dive back going straight through, right down the line of scrimmage. He keeps the ball. See, he keeps the ball in that left arm. There's where the danger comes from. There goes the helmet at the ball, and there goes the ball. And that was a very, very, very bad break. And it's sometimes an indication of what happens when a guy like Mark Jackson only gets in the ball game on an occasion. He's not loose, he's not warmed up, and he's not really capable of doing anything other than taking a quarterback sneak and getting that first down. When you ask him to do something like run an option play, when he's not warmed up, something like that can very well happen. But it's no reflection on what Ray Yawk is trying to do. Had he just shifted that ball and got it in his right hand and held on to it, they probably could have scored on this drive.
But then again, Leo, your ace quarterback, Dieter Brock, has a wonky knee on which he wears a brace, so I guess you have to gamble in a situation like that every once in a while.
Well, I just feel very bad for Mark Jackson because he's a fine young man and I think a good quarterback, and it's a terrible break for him.
From the 2-yard line, Tigercats take over, first down. Straight ahead, Dave Graffey. Not much running room that time. Tigercats on the season have been impressive just about every time out. They've won 7 times, lost only twice, and tied once. One of the losses to the Eskimos, the tie, 34-all affair with the Eskimos here in Hamilton. Second down and 8. Stapler can't make the catch. She would have been out of bounds anyway, I believe. Don Burrell was covering.
That was characteristic of a play I saw Clements do a long time ago. Here we come right now. Here's a replay on this thing. Here's Stapler going down right here, going to the outside. And you've seen this happen so often this year where Clements got that long pass out. Pretty good coverage, though. He had to throw the ball out of bounds. It wouldn't have been complete had he caught it. But it was kind of characteristic of what I saw Clements do when he was playing in college for Notre Dame against Alabama. He won the football game coming out of the end zone with a pass in the waning moments of the game to get the ball and get down and score. And it was just an outstanding play, and Clements will do that.
Bernie Ruoff from deep in his end zone. Those blocks. This is Paul Bennett. And he's to the 37-yard line. Met by Jack Blair, 41. Like the Bombers come out of it with good field position. In spite of the fact they have to attack the wind.
John, am I imagining it, or has the wind kind of died down a little bit? Maybe they're going to have a break. As I said that, I could feel the wind blowing in our face up here, so maybe it hasn't died down.
I think it has subsided a little bit, Leo. It's midway through the third quarter. It seemed to die down a little bit, so I don't think it will be quite as big a factor. Brock on first down. Obie Graves. James Ramey, 68, made the tackle.
Those defensive tackles and defensive ends are asked to read that screen as they start their penetration after the quarterback. If they see any offensive lineman leaving their positions to get out and lead interference, they're supposed to flatten off and get over there and make the play. And he just made a sensational play on that, sensing the screen and getting over and catching Obie Graves from the back.
This is 2nd and 7. Flags come down. The coverage obviously too close. The intended receiver was Gaddis. And I think they've got David Shaw for interference.
Well, there's no question that was interference. He had his hands all over him.
Pass interference, number 37, Hamilton.
Bumped him out of the way.
First down.
Hamilton fans don't like it, but, you know, they wouldn't like it if you give them a loaf of bread. I mean, it's a... Comes right down here and just a simple, see this? Puts the hands all over him, and I mean, there's nothing to complain about there. Now they're going to boo and try to keep Brock from being able to get to his people.
Brock to Gaddis at the 5-yard line. Harold Woods made the tackle, and the Bombers turn a break into a first down at the Tigercat 5.
And here comes Mark Jackson back in the ball game, and I'm glad to see Ray Yawk show this confidence in this young man. He's putting him back in there right now on the 4-yard line and saying, take that ball in the end zone, Mark, and make up for that bad play before.
If Mark's listening to you, he'll move the ball to the other hand if he tries the same play.
He doesn't. I'm going down there in the field after him.
Obie Graves has a couple. I'll tell you, Leo, if the Bombers score here, we're going to have a good finish.
Now, that was number 6, Woods, in there to make that play, and I really can't figure out why they take Brock out to run a ordinary play like that, and then take Mark Jackson out and put Brock back in. Anything that Brock could have done now, he could have done in that last play, I would think.
And had an extra down to work with.
That's right.
2nd and goal from the 3. Brock has time. And can't find the hand. Bob Gaddis. Leo, I'd like to see that because I think he might well have caught that ball.
Here it is right here. Brock goes back. They're starting to penetrate. He's got some time, though. He throws that ball, and it just absolutely hits him. There may have been a little deflection there. It's just hard to say. There may have been a little deflection there by Paul, but or was it Shaw? It was Shaw. There may have been deflection by Shaw, but it still hit him right in the numbers beyond the deflection. And here we are now. Third down. They're going to go for it.
Goal to go from the 3. One last chance for the Bombers. Jackson is at quarterback. Obie Graves tripped up at the 5-yard line. Harold Woods, Grover Covington, the great defensive efforts. And the Tigercats come up big here in the 4th quarter. 22-13, Hamilton out in front.
With Firestone tires on your car, you benefit from a world of experience. Experience in engineering radial tires that deliver long, low-cost, fuel-saving mileage. Tires with dependable strength and stamina that comes from advanced design and careful quality control. Tires that meet the needs of the 80s from Firestone.
Now, according to these latest times,
the building is closed.
My dad works here.
I wanted to point. Freddie, what are you doing here?
Daddy, is time really worth money?
Well, yes, it is.
Well, I like to play ball after supper.
Time is priceless. The Bible says our days are numbered. Are you shortchanging your family?
There are the important numbers, a 9-point differential favoring the Tigercats, and 10 minutes, 18 seconds to play. Hamilton will start from their 5-yard line. A lot of passing yardage for the Bombers. Dave Graffey maybe has 2.
You know, John, when they're down that far, wind isn't that much of a factor because, you know, Hamilton doesn't have freedom of movement down there, although Clements is a daring style quarterback. They're still down there where they can't take too many chances. As far as wind is concerned, if they kick the ball right here, even with the wind, I think that Winnipeg will still get pretty good field position, and then they'll be on the move again. So this game's not over yet.
Flags go down as Clements drops back. He could be in trouble. Got it away. David Graffey, 32. I think it'll depend on what the infraction.
It looked like movement on the offense that time.
I'll tell you, Graffey has had himself a pretty good ball game.
If offside, Hamilton, number 1. Second down repeated.
That was...
Keith Baker got a little excited.
There it is right here. Yeah, Baker starts and gets into that position where he can't hang back, and his head was probably hanging over that neutral zone right there, and they called it movement. That's a break for Winnipeg. Second and about 12 yards to go now. But again, the thing about Clements is that he will take a chance where other people wouldn't. Now, there's a play coming in from the sidelines, and I don't know just exactly what it could be. It could be a screen pass down here, but it'd have to be something safe. I don't think Cush wants him to put the ball up in the air and throw it too deep.
First down, Rocky DiPietro. What a big play. Reggie Pearson made the tackle. The Tigercats were deep and in trouble on 2nd and 12.
I'll tell you one thing, this Clements won't only break your heart, he'll break your spirit, because right there they had Hamilton in a lot of trouble, and he comes out of it again and looks for that DiPietro over there on the sidelines and gets the first down, and boy, that might turn out to be one of the biggest plays of the ball game right there.
Well, the Bombers had them hemmed in. They'll have to try again from the 19. Graffey, nowhere to go that time. York Henschel, 52, a former Tiger Cat, former Edmonton Eskimo as well.
It is right here. It's a draw play this time, and they have the halfback leading it, and Henschel just stuffs the whole thing and goes in there and meets that Graffey head on, and that's how you break him from sucking eggs, boy. You hit him and just drove him right back into the backfield.
Big rush on Clemens, 2nd and 12. Great catch. Crawford gets to the 35-yard line, then a little more. But a big play.
That's just like I said, this Clements will just absolutely keep breaking your heart. It's a play-action fake in there to Graffey, and he just gets Crawford coming across.
Okay, 22 to 13, Tiger Cats over the Blue Bombers. They'll be back to Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton in a moment.
Crazy Glue for wood and leather will bond these two pieces of wood and form a trapeze bar. He applies the glue, presses the parts together, and the bond held. Crazy Glue for wood and leather makes fast, long-lasting bonds on wooden chairs, wooden boats, leather bags, and leather coats. Most anything made of wood and leather, this Crazy Glue can hold together. Get Crazy Glue for wood and leather, the repair kit that comes in a tube.
Crazy Glue for wood and leather, available everywhere you buy your regular instant Crazy Glue.
Rufus Crawford, the injured Hamilton Tiger Cat player, made an outstanding catch in a pass that was a little bit high from Tom Clements, but it was not too difficult for Crawford to pull down. However, he's shaken up.
Well, there's the hit, and it's a big hit by number 20 on Crawford, and there's no question that Williams hit him. He could have, I think, given him some kind of a knee injury on that one. I hate to see it because Crawford, as I said early in the ball game, is one of the most underestimated players in this league, and I'll tell you, he can not only run with the football with a lot of determination. Oh, he's up on his feet, and I guess it was just a good jar. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with that knee at all. This kid don't only run well with the ball, he can catch the ball a ton. And you know, he's just a good guy to have around. Reminds me a little of Willie Bethea when he used to play with Hamilton.
Well, lots of action coming up on the CFL on CBC next Sunday. Calgary at Toronto for the Eastern Conference viewers. Leo Cahill and myself will be there for that one. And the Western viewers will see BC at Winnipeg, Ron Lancaster and Don Whitman in Winnipeg for that game. That's Dave Graffey across the 45-yard line.
This kid is showing some production out here this afternoon. He's a big boy, 225-pound running back in there that can play fullback and probably primarily is a fullback. But he's getting to the outside, John, and he's getting up in there and he's using his eyes real well. It's kind of a not quite as big, but kind of runs like Zonka, the Zonka type from the Miami Dolphins in their heydays.
2nd and 3, Clemens to the air. He's got Keith Baker. And a first down for the Tigercats. Charles Williams forced him out. And Clemens keeps the Tigercats moving.
Here it is right here. Clemens going straight back. DiPietro bends to the inside. Baker goes to the outside. Watch him drag those feet. Drags those feet and just gets the first down. We said before that Baker hadn't caught any passes up until about a quarter ago, but he's starting to make up for it now.
He now has 3 for 37 yards and a couple of big ones. This time long. Oh, Stapler couldn't hang on. Don Burrell, 22, is covering.
There it is right here, and as you see, Stapler's got him by a step. If the ball is thrown maybe a little bit further, he can run under it, but he has to wait. See, right there, he hesitates just a bit and lets that defensive back get himself into position. Burrell knock the ball down.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Fourth quarter. Ticats out in front by 9. 6 minutes, 7 seconds remaining. Patterson should have had that one. Over the middle for Patterson. You can see he's disappointed, number 34.
And Clemens is disappointed too. That Clemens, like I said before, and I'm going to keep saying, he'll nickel and dime you to death and break your heart and break your spirit. I mean, when you have to have the ball and when you have to get it back and when you have to win with it, he'll keep it away from you. Here comes Clemens back right now, and Gordy Patterson is going to the inside now. There it is, right on the money, and he drops the ball, which he very seldom does. This kid is a very disciplined receiver, but he dropped the ball.
On 3rd and 10, Bernie Ruoff stands at his 43. Paul Bennett is the recipient at the Bomber 1. Bennett up to the 15. Cartieri, 47 for the Tigercats, makes the tackle. Well, there's what's been happening. The Bombers, 253 yards passing compared to 235 for the Tigercats. 2 interceptions still loom pretty large, Leo, as you look at those statistics. 2 by Ben Zambiazzi, 1 for a touchdown.
I think that really, John, is the big difference in the ball game right there, because when you look at it, it looks like a toss-up game, and yet here the Ticats are winning 22-13, and Winnipeg against the wind with a long way to go with just 5:12 left in the ball game.
Obi Graves, the screen, the 22.
Box pass complete to Graves.
John Priestley, 36 for the Tigercats.
Second and 2.
Graves is a couple short. Peter Brock looks squarely at second down and 2 yards to go. Obi Graves should have. He fumbled the ball. Preston Young recovers. No flags down. Another bad break for the Blue Bombers as they tried to get out of their own zone.
Graves was out there. His fumble
There's a reverse handoff right here to Obi Graves. He's got the ball well tucked away, but maybe that last final crunching blow there by Zambiazzi coming in there late may have busted the ball loose, and the ball was kicked away, and Hamilton recovered it. And those are a couple of very, very bad breaks.
2 fumbles. The Mark Jackson fumble down at the Hamilton 3-yard line. And now this one, when the Bombers had the first down, they were trying to get a march going and get out of their own territory.
Watch Clements right here. He can go for the fences after that fumble. He's been taught to do things like that.
Graffy again.
Baker was going for the home run, but he saw Graffy out there in the flat, and he threw late to Graffy. And, you know, that defensive back wasn't that far away from Graffy, and if he would have picked that one off, it could have been dangerous, too.
Second and 6.
I'm surprised because Clements usually, when the other team makes a drastic mistake, will bring the team out of the huddle in a hurry and go for a big pass while he's still got them in a state of shock. And that time he didn't, though. He had Baker pretty well loose down the sidelines, but decided to throw short to Graffy.
Tom Clements to the end zone. Keith Baker. And outstanding defensive coverage by Charles Williams. There's double coverage on Baker, but I think Williams was the player to knock it away. Paul Bennett was also covering.
There it is right here. He's going in and bending toward the post, but Williams comes from his cornerback position. Paul Williams is coming from the safety position. They're closing on it. It's his own defense type thing. And one thing you got to remember is that a good, fast defensive back can recover a lot of territory on a deeply thrown ball, and Williams showed it that time.
The Threes are up, 3:33 to play in the 4th quarter. Tigercats out in front by 9. Bernie Ruoff looking to add to that total with Lee Pedersen holding. Ruoff is good. And the Tigercats lead 25-13 over the Blue Bombers. Time running out of the 4th quarter for Winnipeg.
John, that's a big field goal too right there, because you know, you need a touchdown, 2 touchdowns now to get back in this ball game. Touchdown to field goal isn't going to help you that much.
At the conclusion of the game, we'll have the Carling O'Keefe Game Stars, the offensive and defensive players in this afternoon's football game. Peter Brock for Wilkins. And he's well short of a first down. Less than 3 minutes to play at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, and we'll be back with the final moments after this.
It's here, the 82 Chevy Cavalier.
The most complete car we've ever introduced.
Cavalier 2-door coupe.
With 43 standard features, including digital time, radio,
A seat like a bed and room for your head. Cavalier hatchback.
front-wheel drive maneuverability,
Cavalier 4-door sedan.
and an absolute delight to drive.
Cavalier wagon.
The complete line of Cavaliers.
Coupe, hatchback, sedan, and wagon.
Chevrolet's J-Car.
Glad you're here, Cavalier.
82 Chevy Cavalier.
The complete car.
I've lost my crown, my people, my fortune, but I can still look smart. And I do. In my Aero Smooth shirt from Aero. Look at this collar, perfection, and it's specially designed to stay perfect. I even get my exact sleeve length. What quality? Aero Smooth, fit for a king at a price any ex-king can afford.
Aerosmooth, white and plain colors, just under $20.
You don't have to give up a fortune to look smart.
John Wells with Leo Cahill, our entire CBC sports crew at Iverwin Stadium. Welcome back. We're into the final 3 minutes of the football game. Tigercats in control. Dieter Brock trying to do something about it. Over the middle, complete to Wilkins.
Brock's pass complete to
And he should have a first down.
Mercenary made the tackle.
I think Winnipeg's got to start playing some racehorse football now.
We're missing a couple of the racehorses here, Coach. Brock in trouble, fired low. They're ruling a completion on that. Yes. Did he catch it or not?
Here it is right here. We'll find out. Brock's in trouble right here and just lets the ball go, and you really can't tell. It looked like it could have been a scoop, but you can't tell.
That's a catch for Poplawski, 71, and flags go down. A late hit. Howard Woods
is jumping in there like he wants to do something, and usually in a situation like this, these guys got their helmets on, and they don't want to fight. One's scared, and the other one's glad of it.
Well, referee Bill Dell talks to Dieter Brock.
Unnecessary roughness, number 68, Winnipeg. First down has been made, the 1st and 10.
Larry Butler of the Bombers charge.
1st and 10.
It looked to me like there was some pretty good solid hitting. Oh, yeah, that could have been construed as a late hit.
Incomplete. The intended receiver would have been Gaddis, I suppose. It was well off the target. John Priestner knocked it away. We're in the 4th quarter, 2:21 to play. Tigercats moved into a commanding 25-13 lead over the Bombers. Later this afternoon, Saskatchewan and Ottawa in Regina, so that game will be a very important one as far as Bomber supporters are concerned, with the Rough Riders already 2 points up on the Bombers. Eugene Goodlow across the 52 out of midfield. David Shaw, Cartieri. Force Goodlow.
There's Brock again looking off to the other direction and then throwing again long over here to Goodlow. He kind of runs over David Shaw. Cartieri gets out there to help him out, knocks him out of bounds, but a good catch and a first down. But they're running out of time. There's only 2:13 left, and they got to go quickly if they're going to have any chance at all. And they're not going to get home throwing those short passes at this stage of the game.
Eugene Goodlow making the reception at the 45.
There's Goodlow again. Very disciplined receiver. Kansas State boy. I'm sure that Ellis Rainsberger, the assistant coach there that used to be the head coach at Kansas State, had something to do with bringing him to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Bombers still short, 2nd and 2 on that play, and whether Graves made it.
There's the Comet Burley busting in there, and that's the Comet hasn't been seen that much today, but that was a great play on his part. And they just seem to make the plays that they have to make to shut off the Bombers from doing what they have to do to win this ball game.
The Bombers are short. Mark Jackson comes in for Winnipeg. The 3rd down, a yard to go. They've gambled a couple of times and won a couple. Actually, the Bombers have gambled 4 times this afternoon. They've been good on 50% of those. Jackson. He's got the first down this time. The scoreboard clock says 1 minute 50 seconds to play, and they'll have to hustle.
Well, they need 2 touchdowns, John, to win the football game, and that seems nigh on impossible at this point right here. The only way that they can do it is to score almost immediately and then get the ball back. But they're not going to be able to do it by a concerted drive because it's just going to use up too much time.
Dieter Brock is intercepted. Leroy Paul, number 27, flags are down on his return. Paul seems content to eat up a little bit of the clock. He's still going, finally dragged down at the 41-yard line, and Brock intercepted. 2 flags. Clipping on the run back would be the indication. That does not bother the Tigercats at this stage, Leo. The clipping calls, I mean.
Not at all. That's exactly what it is.
We have clipping after the interception by number 74, Hamilton.
Comet Burley apparently clipped on that thing after the interception. Frank Cush is clapping on the sidelines and saying, let's get ready for whoever we got to play next time because we got this one pretty well wrapped up. Everybody in the stands seemed relatively happy. Nobody has left. And as I say this, I look down and people are beginning to file out now, thinking that Hamilton does have this thing pretty well in tow. Dave Graffey. For the 32, met by Paul Bennett, 27 for the Bombers. This might be a pretty good time right here to get that Marler in there and let him take some handoffs and play it safe and get that Clements out of there. There's no danger right now of losing this ball game, and I'd get that Clements out of there and let him sit down over there and enjoy his great afternoon. There's Ray Yock on the sidelines. I know what's going through Ray's head right now, you know, with these injuries that he's had, trying to catch up out west. Bill Caldwell is in and carried the ball that time, Leo. Number 35, I believe his first appearance in the offensive backfield, hit by Leo Esmond, 72. While we have a moment, we'd like to wish Howard Bagley, one of our CBC technicians, good luck in his new profession. He's off to Hollywood or somewhere. He's going to be a musician. John, I wonder while we're wishing people good luck, if I could say hello to my son Steve and my daughter Christy. You're just trying Lisa, to save a phone call. Christy, Lisa, and Betty Lynn down in the States by the American television. They'll be watching this game also and seeing whether their father did a good job or not on his first attempt on television this afternoon. Think of the money you're going to be able to save in long-distance phone calls to the kids, Leo. We'll say hi every week. Paul Bennett. Dragged down by Woods. He's had a pretty good afternoon. Number 6, Harold Woods. 58-yard punt that time. .30 seconds remaining on the clock. Great speed. Harold Woods. There's a great tackle by Woods down there and just got a hold of him and held on, and that's pretty difficult to do. Paul Bennett is an excellent punt returner. He's got some strength in his legs, but Woods wouldn't be denied. And that's been the story all afternoon of Hamilton's coverage teams. They've just been doing an excellent job, which is indicative again of the type of football team they are. Eugene Goodlaw has a reception at the Winnipeg 40-yard line. Well, the Tigercats headed for their 8th victory of 1981. Their record will read 8-2-1. Wilkins out of the backfield. And now 13 seconds remain. As a reminder, our game stars, the outstanding offensive and defensive players after the game.
Of the play, 2nd and 2.
Rick House couldn't hang on. And Howard Fields, a real hit on House that time. That's reminiscent of a play earlier in the game, the one that got the Bombers off to the big start. It's another collision out there, and as I said earlier in the ball game, John, this secondary, the Hamilton Tigercats, if they stay together and can play together, they're going to be a formidable group, and then their linebackers have really improved. Carteria has come along tremendously. As we talked about before, Zambiazzi looks real good in there. And I'll tell you, they're going to be a fine defensive unit. They've got that Mueller kid up in front rushing very well. Comet Burley playing well. Ramey playing well. Dieter Brock for Bob Gaddis. And the game, I believe, is over. The gun went just a little bit before the tackle was made on Bob Gaddis. Well, I think for all intent and purposes, Gaddis thought he was shot. Well, he's all right. Let me assure you of that. Tom Clements leading the Hamilton Tigercats this afternoon. 18 completions and 29 attempts, 240 yards. No interceptions. So the Hamilton Tigercats, the second best record in Canadian football right now, 8-2-1. The Bombers drop to 5-5. We'll be right back after this.
Everybody
people exercise their legs when they work out. I exercise my arms, but for everyone, regular exercise helps the heart and lungs, and that's good. That's participating.
1981 is the International Year for the Disabled. This is the perfect opportunity for all swimmers to enter into training programs. This is good for everyone. I myself participate in swimming 3 days a week.
Everybody's participating. It's becoming a way of acting.
I'm living and keeping my mind alive. So can you with regular exercise. It does as much for your head as it does for your heart. That's why I ski and high jump. It keeps me participating.
Everybody's participating. It's becoming a way of acting.
Hello, remember me? I used to play hockey. My name is Gordie Howe. The United Way has asked me to tell you of some of their many services. I chose family service because I believe that's pretty darn important. You know, when things aren't going right, sometimes sitting down with a trained counselor can help keep it together and often make it better for everybody. Keeping families together is only one service of the United Way. That's why I'm proud to say I support the United Way, and I'm glad that you support it too.
Saturday, September 26th, a family held hostage.
What do you want? $4 million, Marcus.
Can they resist? How long can they survive the July group? Then,
I love you.
she was in her 60s. He was a teenager. It was love. Once.
I killed her.
But did he?
I was trying to help her.
2 specials on CBC, The July Group, and Once, Saturday, September 26th.
And now, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars.
Well, sometimes game stars are difficult to pick. I don't think there was any question about it this afternoon. The outstanding offensive player, Tom Clements. The outstanding defensive player, Ben Zambiazzi, of the Hamilton Tigercats. Leo, it was a relatively easy choice.
Well, I think they both played outstanding football player. And Tom, you know, I said all during the ball game that you're the kind of quarterback that won't only break your heart, you'll break your spirit, because you keep that ball away from them when they really need it in the last part of the ball game. You had one pass dropped. Other than that, you kept the ball away from them and didn't give them a chance to get back on the scoreboard.
Well, I think our offense showed a little character in the second half, especially because we were going against the wind, and we went on one long drive, and then we moved the ball out of our own goal line area a couple of times and gave our defense a little break, and they played a great game. And I'd just like to say it's good to see you guys back on the air after a little layoff.
Thank you very much, Tom. Second quarter, long pass to Stapler. How did that fit into the game as far as you look at the final standing right now?
Well, I think it was very important. It was a great catch by Steve. I threw it behind. He was supposed to run a streak pattern, and the wind got it a little bit, and it took it to the outside. And he made a great adjustment on the ball right there. It was just a great catch, and it gave us field position on the 1-yard line, and we went in to score. But that was just a great play by Steve.
Tom, one other question. You didn't go to Keith Baker until late in this football game. Was there any particular reason? He came back and made some big catches late in the game, but you didn't go to him very often.
No particular reason. It's just sometimes in the flow of the game, you go to one particular receiver. We went to Steve a lot because they were playing him a lot of bump and run, and we thought we could get behind him, and we wanted to test that guy over there. But then when the second half, when we needed some sure things, we came back to Keith also because he's a fine receiver.
Well, that was a great job, Tom. And Ben, you better watch yourself now. You're carrying that ball pretty well, and they're going to, in short yardage situations, be putting you in there at fullback and making you be a fullback. Would you like that?
Well, not really. I think I'll leave Tom up to the offense and guide him into the end zone. We're playing well defensively, the whole team is, and I think defensive had a great effort a few times, and that's where I got to concentrate on.
Well, how about that elusiveness that you showed there when Dieter Brock tried to knock you out of bounds there? You made that big last move and just kind of vaulted into the end zone. Did that make you feel good?
I don't know. Well, it's nice to get in the end zone anytime. You don't get to score too often on defense, and, you know, it was just, it was more of a foot race. I don't think I'm all that fast. I think Dieter's had a bum leg, and I was just lucky Dieter was chasing me and not Tommy.
I think you better have a look at this, Ben, because you look pretty good. Can you see it on the screen down there?
Oh, yeah, right. Well, we went to man coverage here, and Dieter went back and had a nice break on the ball, and good thing my momentum didn't carry me out of bounds there, and just
Well,
like I
look
said,
at
it
you
was
going down that sidelines, Ben. You got the ball in the correct hand on the inside right there, and holding the ball up like a running back. Well, you've been practicing as a running back out there. I can tell that.
I think some of these running drills Coach Cush has us in really paid off. Otherwise, I don't think I would have made it down to the end zone there.
Any turning point in the game, Ben, as you look at it?
I think that the big turnover is when we stopped them right before the second quarter and right before the first quarter ended, and give them the ball back with the wind, and we moved it down there. Then we had about 6 tries. We got one in. Then we held them right away, and then Tommy had the big catch by Stapler down. We scored back-to-back touchdowns right there. I think that helped us, and of course interception that put us up by about 2 touchdowns.
Can't forget that. Huh?
No, we can't forget. I just like to say hi to a friend of mine in Newfoundland, Janice. It was my birthday yesterday, and she sent me a nice birthday cake.
And you ran that touchdown just for her.
That's right.
Okay, Janice, that's saving a lot of money in telephone calls today. You're talking to Memphis and Ben talking in Newfoundland. Again, gentlemen, congratulations. Outstanding football contest this afternoon.
Keep up the good work, man.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the Tigercats, certainly the easy victors over Winnipeg when all was said and done in this contest this afternoon, Leo.
Well, my heart kind of goes out to Ray Yawk a little bit, John. You know, there was a couple things that happened in that second half. That fumble by Jackson and those interceptions, it could have been a different ball game. And, you know, when Winnipeg came into this ball game this afternoon, I wasn't giving them much chance to play that kind of a game this afternoon. They played real close with Hamilton all afternoon and could have won the football game. So I think Yawk's done a good job. It won't be much consolation to him going home with that loss, but his boys did a good job, and I think that they can get up and still get into that playoff picture out west.
Well, the statistical story will still show that the Bombers were very close in a lot of areas, particularly the passing of Dieter Brock this afternoon, as Brock passed for 327 yards. Clements for 240, but Clements got the points on the board when it mattered, and of course the interceptions and the fumbles really turned things around as far as the Blue Bombers were concerned this afternoon. 327 yards in passing offense for Winnipeg and Dieter Brock this afternoon, and a rather impressive display for the Bombers in a lot of ways when you consider the injuries and the adjustments that they did have to make against a pretty good Hamilton Tigercat football team. Well, a look at the standings in the Eastern Conference. The Tigercats so far in front. 17 points is the total now after 8 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. And the nearest competitors 9 points away, the Ottawa Rough Riders. The Western standings, as a result of action last night, but one game later this afternoon, Saskatchewan and the Ottawa Rough Riders will change this before the weekend is complete. The Eskimos out in front, 9-1-1. The BC Lions 8-3-0 for 16 points. And the Bombers in the dogfight near the bottom, even with Calgary, but 2 points back of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. So the Bombers will watch the telecast later this afternoon as far as Saskatchewan and Ottawa are concerned to see exactly what happens there. We mentioned earlier on this telecast that this was the Hall of Fame weekend in Hamilton, Ontario, and a lot of sports celebrities and football Hall of Famers gathered. One of the inductees, Jerry James of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, has joined us now. Jerry, obviously a very moving moment when you get selected and moved into the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame.
Well, it was, John, and I won't go over what happened last night as far as the induction. Of course, my father and I being in the Hall of Fame together, and me not knowing my father that much during the war years when he was away, and then not influencing my career as much. And it was just a great thrill to be placed side by side with him in the CFL Hall of Fame.
Jerry, you've been away from football a little bit. I know you're still very involved in sports, but a little in another direction in hockey in some centers. It must be nice to be remembered by the Canadian Football League, not completely forgotten after quite a few years away from the game. I guess we don't have to kid anybody. You've been gone for a while, haven't you?
Well, a long time, but you know, my association with the other sporting area in hockey has you know, eased it for me. And of course, I have never been very reticent about my voicing my opinion in regards to being in the Football Hall of Fame. I did a number of years ago say that I should be in, and I thought that might delay but they don't hold grudges, and I don't either, so it was a great reunion.
You have a record, 18 touchdowns one season. Isn't that a CFL record?
Yeah, I have another
rushing record.
I could go on and on, John.
Well, let's
most fumbles by a left-handed player, most converts by a left-footed kicker. I mean, there's so many I could just go on and on.
You do hold another distinction. Not very many in the modern era, at least, have played professional hockey and professional football in the same year. You played with the Leafs.
Well, Leafs were, at a time like now, they were very thin in talent. And that gave me the opportunity to play for a number of years. And then when they started upgrading their personnel, I was a one-sport man again.
I remember one time, many, many years ago, you took a hockey team called the Sturgeon Creek Blackhawks to a championship. Do you remember any of those moments?
I can't remember any of the moments.
There was a defenseman playing on the team,
there was
number
a defenseman,
3. Do you remember him?
Yeah, a defenseman named John Wells, and he said, "Now, Coach." I said, "Not now, John. Not now. Later."
That was the year I remember, Jerry. You broke your leg with the Toronto Maple Leafs at that point, and came back to coach Sturgeon Creek.
It was a great experience, John, and I think that's where I got my start in coaching hockey. I enjoyed it so much, and I have you to thank for that.
Memories of Canadian football. Do you look back to any particular moments that might stand out in your career?
I think overall, I was talking to Kenny Plain this afternoon, and just the great remembrances that we've had as association with the Winnipeg Football Club and the great Canadians that I played with. As I said last night, I won 2 Shenley Awards. I never won the Tom Lumsden Memorial Trophy, which is still given away by the Winnipeg Football Club for the most valuable Canadian. Not that I begrudge that, but that was just the talent of Canadian talent that we had in Winnipeg at that time.
What was the best team you ever played on?
I think the best team was probably the 1960 team. We were 14-2 and lost to Edmonton.
I remember a little bit of that season.
That was looking back now, you can say we could have won 5 Grey Cups in a row if we had won that 1960 game.
We look at Eastern Conference standings right now. There are chances that things can be upset. You know, your 14-2 season, if you look back to that.
Well, I just really don't think that, like, Edmonton will be the only team that'll be 14-2, but there'll be no team. There may be a team in the East that'll be 2-14.
How did you enjoy the weekend? Everything go pretty well
Everything
down
was
here?
Great. The people have treated us great. They don't hold grudges about Winnipeg always beating Hamilton in the past. I guess it was a great result today, but in the old days, Winnipeg didn't always get the stats, but they always won the games.
Some teammates around here this week, too.
Oh, we saw lots of teammates plus a lot of people I played against, and if it hadn't been for those people that were there last night, player-wise, I would have been in the Hall of Fame a lot sooner.
Jerry, congratulations again. We wish you every success. You're out in Yorkton, Saskatchewan these days.
Yeah, I should wave and say hi to all the people back in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and I'll be back on Tuesday morning.
Okay, Jerry James, a new inductee into the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. Thanks, Jerry. Next week in Canadian football, a 4-game program next weekend, starting off with Montreal and Edmonton, Hamilton at Ottawa, then Sunday, Calgary at Toronto, the BC Lions at Winnipeg, and Leo Cahill and I will be in Toronto for the Calgary Stampeder Toronto Argonaut contest, and we'll see if the Argos can come up with their first victory. That's next Sunday afternoon. Back to Ivor Wynne Stadium here this afternoon. Let's talk about this game and what happened to the Blue Bombers. Just too much Tiger Cat?
I think that it's just it could be capsuled in a nutshell when you say that the mistakes that the Winnipeg team made in that second half cost them the ball game. It could have been just as well their ball game, but that fumble down on the goal line and that later fumble that they made just put them out of the contention for the ball game. And it's too bad because they played well and they played under adverse conditions and they played a great Hamilton football team at home.
One thing we didn't mention later in the ball game, Leo, was the way the Bombers had to come into this game. You're missing John Helton, so obviously that gives Tom Clements a little better chance of having a successful afternoon. Not to take anything away from Clements, but Helton's a pretty fair football player if he gets a little more heat on the Ottawa backfield or the Hamilton backfield.
Well, I felt going into this ball game that was a big consideration, not having Helton in there. But another big consideration too, John, was when you take that Willie Miller out of there alongside Obie Graves, it kind of stifles their running attack that's been so successful for them this year. And I knew right away early in the ball game that they're going to have to throw the football with a lot of success in order to win this football game. And, you know, at times Brock got some pretty good protection there and threw the ball extremely well, but just unfortunately he had that ball picked off by Zambiazzi for a touchdown. Then he made just a fantastic option play. He looked like an old option split-T quarterback, and you're going to see it right here. He gets the ball and starts out to the outside right here and gets ready to throw, and he spins off of a tackle in there, and then Ramey gets a hold of him right here, and he plays that option with the left hand yet and gets the ball out there to Graffy, and Graffy takes the ball down here and almost gets it down to the 5-yard line, or maybe down to the 5-yard line. And here, unfortunately, Jackson comes into the ball game and runs the option. It's the regular split-T option, the dive play. He turns it up inside. Look at the ball in his left hand right here. Right there comes the head into the ball right there. And it looked like Carteri, was it, that got in there?
Carteri made the hit. Zambiazzi
made the recovery, right. But the ball was in the wrong arm, unfortunately, and the fumble was made. All right, now here's the pitch out right here to Obie Graves, and Obie Graves is coming back in here, and that's just an absolutely outstanding play by Covington, number 66. And, you know, this has been a trademark of Hamilton's defense all year long. They make the big plays when they have to. All right, here's Clements back right now, and I think he's going to go to Rocky DiPietro here. Yes, it is Rocky DiPietro getting the ball on the sidelines. Had another great day and always is available and gets back and gets himself open when Clements gets in trouble. Now here's the ball given in there to Graves, and again the ball is kicked away and Hamilton makes the recovery. Another big play, but again shunting the opportunity that Winnipeg would have had to maybe score.
Several key defensive plays. I don't think, looking at the highlights, we could have picked anybody better than Zambiazzi for the defensive
Boy,
start
he's some football player. He's a hoss and a half, and you know, he and Clements are such class guys too. I mean, they ought to both be on television because they got all the answers.
Tell me about a team in the Eastern Conference quickly, Leo, with an 8-2 record against the other teams in the Eastern Conference. How do they guard against complacency in the stretch?
Well, I think the big way they guard against complacency is a guy by the name of Frank Cush, because Frank Cush will work their hind parts off and run them until they can't run any longer, and then run them some more. And he knows what it takes to win, and he's just a sensational coach, and he loves it, and he loves what's happening over here in Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Leo. I enjoyed working with you this afternoon. We'll get together again next weekend as well. Next Sunday, Don Whitman and Ron Lancaster will have the BC at Winnipeg game on the Western CBC television network. Leo Cahill and I will be in Toronto to do the Calgary Stampeders and the Toronto Argonauts on Sunday, September the 27th. So again, the final score here at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, Hall of Fame game. The Hamilton Tigercats over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 25-13. On behalf of everyone at CBC, John Wells, good afternoon.
CFL 81, brought to you by Canadian Pacific, owned by Canadians, working for Canadians. By Firestone, a new generation of tires from a world of experience. And by KTEL International Limited,